It's NBA Championship Week here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray with you tonight until 11 o'clock. Entering a brand new week. I was on yesterday, so you might hear some things. I repeated them, and if you missed them, you'll hear them for the first time tonight. Hanging out, Skaz is here. We got our intern Christina here as well, and we're with you on YouTube. Check us out. See our people already in there. Einbein, Bubba Ganoush is in there. Bruins Luchador, what's up? People ready to go here on the night show, and we are anticipating Game 1 Thursday night, Celtics and Dallas Mavericks. And we're getting closer, right? I've already given my analysis about this final. I've given my breakdown. I know what the coverages are going to be. I know who's covering who. At least that's what I think is going to happen. I feel pretty good about this series, and I feel really good about the Boston Celtics winning this series. They're going to be tested. It's not a cakewalk. You're going up against one of the top 5 players in the NBA in Luka Doncic. And what kind of Kyrie Irving will you get? That's certainly a big question mark. And I still think there's some sort of pressure angle when it comes to the Celtics. Right? You have to look at some sort of pressure angle. And really, it's Jason Tatum who's facing a ton of it, Joe Mazzulla who's facing a ton of it as well, and being the best team in the NBA, winning the championship and finishing the job. Like, that's one thing where there's a ton of pressure. And I think with Dallas, Luka's got all the accolades, right? He's got the alpha mentality. His performance in late in games is unprecedented. And the Western Conference is loaded. Denver, OKC's on the rise. Minnesota as well. It's hard to go back, right? Kyrie Irving comes back to Boston saying he's in a good place. And I will have to say this. I got to give Matt McCarthy credit for this one, because I said that he sounds like he's in a good place, right? Playing better. He's okay with being the 2. I think I bit the cheese on that a little bit. I bit the cheese on it. He tells you he's different. But it's just like a breakup or someone you dated when they tell you they changed. Have they really, really changed? I think that's a big storyline when it comes for Kyrie Irving and the Boston Celtics. But yeah, I got smacked right in the face yesterday. I was biting the cheese on Kyrie Irving. But he has struggled against Boston over his last 10 games. And then Jason Kidd, I keep mentioning, he's won in Dallas before. Came to Dallas to help win a championship. Was also fired twice, and I think has something to prove. And he's got to go through the Celtics to do so. So we'll line him up at 617-779-0985. But here's my leadoff take. The Celtics will win the championship by playing Mazzulla ball. Yep, Mazzulla ball. Some people like it. A lot of people don't. But they're going to win the championship by playing Mazzulla ball. What is Mazzulla ball, you ask? Well, what is Mazzulla ball, you ask? The system emphasizes three-point shooting, ball movement, drawing double teams, and find open looks. And the Celtics have a very heavy three-point style of play, which I think will help the Celtics win the championship and win this series. Some have said it's a fatal flaw. We'll find out, right? This series, we will find out if the philosophy, the analytics, Mazzulla ball wins a championship. Now, I'm on record saying that the Celtics can front run their way. They don't need to have clutch situations. They've already had 3 of them and proven it. I just think they're better than everybody else. I don't need to give you the numbers, the analytics. They're a better roster than the Mavericks. But there are intangibles in championship games. Pressure is one. I brought that up. A star player in Luka Doncic, it's there. But for the Celtics, though, there's too many to choose from. And when I bring up Mazzulla ball and the three-point shooting, the Celtics attempted 47% of their shots from 3 during the regular season. The Mavericks shot 44% of their attempts. So Boston averaged almost 43 a game knocking down almost 17 a game. Dallas, though, just a little bit less, knocking down 14, taking 39. But this postseason, and this is the difference here, and this is what's going to be the difference between the Celtics, Missoula Ball, and the Mavericks. The Green are attempting almost 40 threes a game, and they're converting on almost 15 league-high, playoff high. Dallas, their numbers dramatically lower. Fifth most, taking 34 a game and converting on almost 13 a game. That's where the difference is going to be. 3-point shooting. When the Celtics shoot well, or when they take those type of shots and hit their number, they're 11-0. They're 11-0 when they make more threes than their opponent. They did it in the regular season as well. The times they go below that, though, they hold an 11-13 record. Can Dallas get the Celtics into an isolation basketball offense? No. And I don't think they can win that way. This has to be won by playing team basketball, passing the ball, not giving it to one guy and letting him dribble it for 10 seconds. Luka's great at that. It's how the Mavericks hang around. It's how they win games. They do it. And to be honest with you, I almost feel like that falls into the Celtics' hands a bit because the rest of the team, they're like, all right, Luka, you go do your thing. With the Celtics, they're harder to defend. Luka Doncic's been terrible defending Brown or Tatum. Terrible at it. But the Celtics have shot over 43s in 7 of their 10 games this postseason. The Mavericks have only hit that number once in 17 games. Book it. Missoula Ball will help the Celtics win a championship. Your thoughts at 617-779-0985. And I know people think it's flawed. It's flawed, and maybe this is the series, right? Great player. Going up an experienced coach as a player, and now has been around the block a bit. Playing with Kyrie, who's been there before. Playing with a bunch of young players, right? They traded out to get all these guys to build around Doncic. It's like the third team they built around him. And here they are. But Missoula Ball, the guy that was entered into the situation after Ime Udoka, now has his staff, his philosophy worked 80% of the time during the regular season. 4 more games to go. They're a better 3-point shooting team than Dallas and a better defensive team in Dallas. And they're going to win by playing Joe Missoula Ball. 617-779-0985. We're here tonight until 11 o'clock. We got a giveaway coming up. We got in or out. We got musings, a full show. Dan Lifshatz will be on the show tonight. Bankroll Boy Unite. We'll also talk to the Brian Robb, our very own Brian Robb, and also of Mass Live. We got a full show tonight. Skaz is here as well. I wonder what he thinks about Missoula Ball and your thoughts at 617-779-0985. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
And the Celtics aren't a basketball team right now. They're a show.
These guys are basketball gods.
3:55 to go at the Garden. Boston 127, Dallas 103.
Back here 98.5 The Sports. I'm Joe Murray. Good pull there, Skaz. I went back to the two games that the Celtics beat Dallas this year. The first one shouldn't matter. It's a completely different team. But the last game, the Celtics won 138-110. I just like to look to see how the matchups go. I wasn't trying to get, I know the two teams are different. And I've explained about Dallas since the trade deadline. They went 16-4. They made some big moves. They changed their team. And they're really buying into the defensive philosophy. That's the difference. That's been their difference. But I did want to just look into that last game. And as you heard there, Jason Tatum with an assist to Al Horford for 3. They went on a huge run at the end of that game. And I'll go over this is some of the notes I wanted to bring up here. And we'll get to your calls in a minute here at 617-779-0985. Tatum had just 2 points in the first quarter of that Dallas game back in March. There were 2 free throws with 18 seconds left in the first quarter. He went on to make 5 3-pointers and finish with 32 points. His quote was, "We progressed, understanding every night is going to look different. If it calls for me essentially to pass the ball 8 possessions in a row because that's the right read, then you have to trust that. That's what's going to help us win the game." He said this after the Dallas game. That's how they're going to win the championship. It's not going to be iso ball, Tatum versus Doncic, because if that's the case, I lean Dallas. The Celtics can't be a team that pounds the ball for 10 seconds and plays isolation basketball. Listen, I think Jason Tatum is one of the better iso players in the game, right? He takes so many iso shots that his percentage is low. But this team's too good to not pass, cut, set screens, look for double teams, pick and rolls, etc. They're just too good for that. And Dallas can't defend it. They've done well through the playoffs, but to do it consistently with all those options, that's where they're going to struggle. Why I think they'll win because of Missoula ball? They knocked down 21 threes in that game. Dallas could not keep up with Boston shooting. They went 9 of 34 from 3, Dallas. They couldn't keep up. Dallas got within 81-79. This was midway through the third quarter. The Celtics ended on a 21-11 run, won another third quarter, and then followed that up by outscoring Dallas 36-20 in the fourth. This was when they used to put away teams and they would lay down, front run their way to the victory. That's what happened. Jaylen Brown added 25 points and 7 rebounds. Kristaps Porzingis, he finished with 24 points as 7 Celtics reached double figures in the game. Porzingis scored 10 of the Celtics' first 15 points in the game. He also had 4 of their 10 threes in the opening 24 minutes. And then they went on that 12-point lead. They were up 12 in the first at halftime. Right around 7.5 was the final score there. And Doncic, of course, had his 12th triple-double of the season. He finished with 37 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists. Kyrie added 19 points, but he was miserable. He shot 9 of 23 from the field. So that's the most recent matchup. Tatum started slow. They were on the second of a back-to-back. But Porzingis was immense. They knocked down their threes. Dallas couldn't keep up. The Celtics scored 138 points and rolled. What makes you think that's not going to happen in the series? They're going to play Missoula ball. They're going to out 3-point shot Dallas. And I think Dallas is going to have difficulties defending. Doesn't mean it won't be close around halftime like it was in this game or a 2-point game in the third quarter. But in the end, I think the Celtics will be too much, and they're going to win based off Joe Mazzulla's analytical and just his philosophy of volume threes. I think his philosophy alone is going to win this series. Your thoughts at 985. We'll start it off tonight with Ryan, who's in Falmouth. What's up, Ryan? You're on the Sports Hub.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
Joe, I completely agree with you with Missoula ball. I'm probably the biggest advocate besides Dan Greenberg with Missoula ball, but I think the only other way they get this done is if they go back to Ime, blitz Luka, put Derek White on Kyrie.
I'm sorry,
and just
go back to Ime?
I'm saying Ime's defense.
Okay.
I think that's the only other way they get this done. If they're BSing around like they did the last two series, they're not going to be able to get it done.
You really wanted to swear, didn't you?
I was super close.
That's how we started off tonight, guys. How do you feel about the Missoula ball? Right? Ridiculed. People think it's a flaw. Right? Oh, they shoot too many threes. They shoot themselves out of the game. Da, 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 da. No. This is how they got here. And I think this is how they're going to specifically. And I mean, like, rub it in. They're going to play Missoula ball, shoot more threes, probably get to the line more, pass more, assist, you name it. They're going to win this thing playing Missoula ball, guys.
Yeah, to your point, that's how they got here. I think it's their biggest advantage in the series probably is their offensive weapons. We've said it time and time again. The Mavericks are Luka and Kyrie. They do have a couple, role players that are decent, but nothing near what the Celtics have. Their way to win this series is spread the ball and shoot three-pointers, and I think that's exactly what Missoula wants to do, and I expect that's exactly what they're going to do.
Yep. Just want to be consistent, everybody. What flaw? How can this be flawed, those guys? Like, is it what happened in the game twos where you have bad shooting nights? Because that can't happen.
Yeah, I think I'll be very interested if a game two scenario happens, if they go cold, if Missoula does say, all right, let's go inside, or if they stick with what they usually do and keep shooting the three. You can't fault them because it's been so successful, but I mean, at times it is stressful to watch and, aggravating to watch when they're just constantly shooting threes that aren't going in, and you have Tatum, who's 6'10", Porzingis, who's 7'3", just, not going in the paint at all. So maybe we see a little bit more of that. I don't think the Mavericks have really great interior defenders, but I don't think they have great perimeter defenders either. So I think the Celtics offense is the biggest mismatch in the series.
I do too. Here I am saying that they're going to play Missoula ball and win. Another reason why I mean Missoula ball, and again, if you would like because I looked it up, there was like an Urban Dictionary version of it. The system that emphasizes three-point shooting, ball movement, and drawing double teams to find open looks. That's Missoula ball. He's talked about it plenty of times. One thing I wanted to mention regarding that matchup, it doesn't just have to be the three and jacking the three, right? It just doesn't have to be that. Do you know that Jaylen Brown finished with 38 points in the paint in the two games against Dallas? So, like, he gets inside the paint. They have two bigs, right? Three, really, if you want to look at it with Washington. Or Powell, former Celtic, who's been there forever. Bought a car off my friend. I think he's been there for 9 years. But, yes, it also gets them inside the paint and finds the open guy. And I think that's what Tatum's been best at. When he somewhat gets into that, takes over most of the time on the shot clock, iso ball, they're not at their best. And it's okay to say that. It's okay. But when they play Missoula ball style pass cut, look for double teams, things to that degree, it's great things for the Boston Celtics. 617-779-0985. We got Drew. Is another guy in Plymouth. Hey, Drew.
Hey, how you doing, Joe? Love the show. Love what you're doing. Was just calling because I'm getting out of work today. I'm doing the scrolling thing on the phone, and I see that big boy Kendrick Perkins comes out and says, if the Celtics have Kristaps Porzingis, they win it in 7 games. If they don't have him, they lose it in 6. 1, I wanted to know your thoughts on that, and 2, I wanted to know if the Celtics do come out swinging, playing Missoula ball, they're hitting their shots, playing good D, all that. I truly want to know what you think the outcome will be, how many games it'll go, and who the winner will be.
Yeah, I get the Celtics in 5. So, usually I try to tell you to go listen to a podcast or go somewhere else for that. I'm Celtics in 5 all the way for me. I think it'll be close games midway through the third quarter, around the fourth, and then they run away with it. No different than what you saw this regular season. But I do think that Dallas is slightly playing better defense. And if the Celtics do have struggles shooting, which Tatum has, right? This is the point with Jason Tatum is this. If he just does what he's been doing, he's a great team player and facilitator, and they always find the other guy. If Tatum starts hitting his shots, good night. If he starts knocking down the shots he's missed that everyone's complaining about, those threes in particular, good night. Celtics in 5. 617-779-0985. We'll get into Porzingis coming up in just a little bit. Benny's in Oxford. What's up, Benny?
Hey, Joe, Skaz, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, bro?
Wanted to talk about this Missoula ball, man. I agree. First off, I agree with everything else you said. Celtics in 5, and it's definitely putting up three-pointers a ton. But let's not forget that with Porzingis coming back, he actually did a lot of his work, too, in the post-up. He's one of the best post-up scorers in the league. Yep. And I think some of the losses we had during the regular season, I know it's hard to gauge, but one of the main ones you look at was the Warriors game where Washburn, I think, went after Missoula for the 50-point three-pointers attempts. We didn't have Porzingis that game, to post up either. So they do have a nice balance once Porzingis comes back and abuse whoever they switch in that pick and roll there.
Yeah. Do you think that Dallas's defense can at least slow down the Missoula ball style?
No, I don't think they have the defenders to do it. Because what are they going to do? Switch or hedge on every screen? I don't think Luka doesn't want to run baseline to baseline playing defense. Kyrie will put the effort in, I think, but the defensive abilities, his ability is just not there on that end. P.J. Washington's a good defender, Derek Jones, but again, it's only two guys. And Derek Lively, I think he wants to block shots because, like you just said, Jaylen Brown scored 40 points,
crushed him in the post, and then inside the paint. Yeah, I feel the same way, Benny. Like we sound very confident, right? But I mean, that's the only thing I'm concerned about right now is too confident. Are they? Is Dallas prepared for the intangibles, man? Like I know talent wins in the long run, but with this Celtics team, intangibles have mattered.
And again, it's the Drew Holiday effect too. Like I think he's brought that calmness. And again, us as fans, we could be confident all through the roof if we want to be. The Celtics team, I think, has been approaching this season perfectly.
Yep. And
I get we're not happiest with how they haven't swept that 12-0 in the playoffs and haven't beaten everybody by 30, but they've still taken care of business.
Just raise it.
So
I don't care how they do it. I don't care if they don't shoot 1-3. I'm just telling you they're going to shoot like 20 of them though.
And again, really quick, like you just said, we're 12-2, and Tatum hasn't exactly been shooting lights out.
Yep.
Lord help the Mavericks if Tatum decides he wants to start shooting anywhere close to this percentage or even on fire for the next 4 or 5 games.
If Tatum goes on fire, it could be 4 or 5. I say 5 games, but he hasn't woke up yet. And there was something out there that he's dealing with a hip injury from Paul Pierce. So some time off, a nice little massage. You know what I mean?
Hey, it wouldn't be a playoff, a nice little thank you from the Heat. So,
All right, Benny. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you. Yep, the code red. The code red is, I think, what hurt, allegedly, what has hurt Jason Tatum. We'll get a look at the Sports Hub headlines right now. And on the other side, I wanted to look at the coaching for the Celtics and Joe Mazzulla and now his team. I'll look back at that. We'll take more of your calls. I'm Joe Mario. Let's get a look at the Sports Hub headlines now.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, you got the Celtics and Mavericks. They'll play Game 1 this Thursday night, and Kristaps Porzingis was at practice. Looks like he'll be good to go. In the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, the Florida Panthers and Edmonton Oilers will meet. NFL news today, Justin Jefferson, 4 years, $140 million extension, $80 million guaranteed. The Patriots have signed free agent wide receiver David Wallace. They released offensive lineman Andrew Stuber. And Hall of Fame offensive lineman Larry Allen has passed away today at the age of 52. Former Dallas Cowboy. And the Red Sox, they're off tonight. They host Atlanta tomorrow. And Conor McGregor, he suffered a minor injury. It's going to jeopardize his UFC 303 fight against Michael Chandler. Headlines, they are brought to you by Safety Insurance. Providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray. Your next update in 30 minutes.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Father Sports, I'm Joe Murray. We're here until 11 o'clock tonight. Feel free to join the chat on YouTube. What I do is, yesterday I was at home. Oh, no, it was Saturday. Saturday I was home. I popped on the old YouTube, and I saw Leroy Irvin and Cerrone battle together. And I watched it from my living room chair as I did some chores and downloaded the app right there. Watched it right from my television. So you can do the same. Just go to YouTube, download the app, or just download the app, and then just click 98.5 The Sports. There's a little live button. Click that. Boom. I started the show saying that the Celtics can win playing Missoula ball. And the people in chat are saying that Missoula ball sounds like an Italian dish, which it kind of does. And then Luca would be, like a mozzarella ball. So I'm sorry that the word or the reference or phrase Missoula ball reminds you of an Italian dish. And, the Celtics will be eaten when they're playing Missoula ball against that Dallas defense. Like racking up the threes, right? So if you want to compare it to an Italian dish, I am in on that. 617-779-0985. Just speaking of Joe Mazzulla and just his journey, I thought about it. I was here the day that Ime Udoka was no longer the coach. We got no answers. I know a lot of the players were upset about it. They were still talking about it last year. Marcus Smart was still talking about it. There were guys in there that, like even in the playoffs last year, two guys that are no longer here made comments about Joe Mazzulla's coaching or how he's learning. Marcus Smart was one of them, and Malcolm Brogdon was the other. Like, let's face it, he was disrespected last year during a 7-game playoff run. He was thrown into a mix. He wasn't ready. I'm not making excuses. I make more than anything. I'm making an excuse at management for having him be the guy. They even gave him an extension as well. So you could be critical. I was very critical of all of that. Like, I even wondered if Joe Mazzulla could be the guy to even get this team back to, first place and even back to the NBA Finals. Like, the way they choked it away last year, they went away from playing defense. Jaylen Brown regressed, right? You had different egos in there, different voices, because I don't think some guys believed in the coach. That's just a fact. But you know what? A year later, looking at where they are, what they've done, Joe Mazzulla has been the right guy. A year ago, I'll tell you he wasn't. Celtics have the best record in the NBA in the regular season. They've gone 12-2 through 3 rounds of the playoffs. Like, when Udoka was gone, Joe Mazzulla was literally thrown into it. He had to deal with a staff that wasn't really his. And sometimes that's not easy. Right? You got other guys in there. Other guys wanted that job. Right? Damon Stoudemire. He ended up going to college. There were other guys who wanted that job that probably could have got that job. But this year, what did they do? They invested in him. They invested in Joe Mazzulla. They invested in their asset. They bring in Sam Cassell. Right? They bring in Charles Lee. Guys that should be NBA coaches. And Charles Lee will be, by the way. And Sam Cassell's going to get interviews. He's already getting interviews. But you bring in your own guys. Right? They have some others in there too. That's the biggest thing. It's just a storyline that we haven't really discussed. And I get it. When it comes to the NBA, how much do the coaches really make an impact? With some teams, it's evident. Miami in particular, right? You look at them. What I saw from Minnesota this year, I thought their coach was good. I mean, some teams just recycle coaches as they go. Like, this guy doesn't work out. Look at Dallas. Right? They just had to bring in Jason Kidd, who was fired at 2 other spots. And I believe Jackie McMullen said this over the weekend. Over the course of the year, when you look at it, Joe Mazzulla never had the support of his staff. The staff is night and day from a year ago, she mentioned. And she just thinks it's an underplayed story when people talk about Joe Mazzulla And the fact that the staff they've built around him has been great. And speaking of that staff, sounds like Jeff Van Gundy may get a look on the bench next season. So I wonder if that's another step for him potentially becoming a head coach. But with Charles Lee leaving, there's an opening on that bench. But I credit ownership for that one. A year ago, if you want to look at the Celtics team and say they blew it, they did. They had a chance to go. I don't know if they beat Denver, and I'm going to be honest with you. The way things were going, did you really think they were going to beat Denver? It's just, I look back at it. They went with what they had. They knew they needed to double down this year. They had to remove some parts. They did. They surrounded Mazzulla. He's been a hell of a coach, and I'm telling you, they're going to win the championship playing his philosophy. There is no way I would have told you that a year ago. Absolutely no way 1 year ago at this time I would tell you that Joe Mazzulla and his style of play is the reason why the Celtics are going to raise another banner. But it is. They're going to outshoot, out three-point, outpass, and really, they're just going to outnumber the Dallas Mavericks in the final this week. 617-779-0985. Just wanted to give credit to Mazzulla and Mazzulla Ball. Got anything on that, Skez? I know you got a bunch going on back there.
No, just on Mazzulla Ball and the coaching staff. I mean, isn't this a good problem to have? This is kind of like, not to cross sports here, but the Patriots back in the day, they'd have all these coaches get interviews, and although their coaches didn't really pan out, we learned a lot about those coaches when they went elsewhere. I think for the Celtics, this is a good problem to have. They brought in the right guys, and it's paying dividends, especially if they go on to win the title this year. That culture change, the bringing in Cassell, bringing in Charles Lee.
You can let
Van Gundy on the court.
You can let Van Gundy sit on a bench if he wins a championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like I know Pop is really experienced, but he could put whoever he wanted on that bench and nobody could say anything.
Exactly.
Over time, you know
so
what I mean?
We all know about the guys on the court, but I think, with all the time we have going into the finals, those guys deserve their shine too, because we've seen it. The close games late against Indiana, the Cavaliers, this team is different, and it's partly due to those guys.
That's Skaz, everybody. 617-779-0985. Hey, we got a giveaway, everyone. Caller number 10 right now to the contest line at 617-931-0985 will score a 1-year Planet Fitness Black Card membership. The Black Card gets you access to all the perks like freedom to bring a friend every visit, the old hydro massage loungers, red light therapy. This sounds kinky. Meditation pods and more. Only $24.99 a month. Sign up now at planetfitness.com. Caller number 10 right now to our contest line. You'll get that Planet Fitness Black Card membership. We'll take a quick break. Some funny things going on when it comes to the NBA and NHL Stanley Cup Final. We'll talk about that coming up on the other side. I'm Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more.
short. 8 seconds. Fires the puck around. Dallas shot missed the net from Robertson as time winds down. Now the Edmonton Oilers are headed to the Stanley Cup Finals.
After the game, talking to the media for Dallas, Tyler Seguin. Like, he was the guy that sat in front of the microphone and was like, yeah, we need to do this better, or one bounce this way, or one bounce that way. Like, to me, that was different. I think I told you this, guys, before. Might have been the year after the Celtics won the championship, but I did a 4th of July show here. And it was 4 hours. It was myself and Bob Beers. And we just, for 4 hours, like, is something going to happen with the Bruins? We get off the air. We go home, and on the way home, the Bruins traded Tyler Seguin. So it was there the whole day. And then they traded Seguin. But I thought that was just interesting seeing him, like, taking the shots. Like, he's the veteran on that team that, like, answers to the media. I just thought that was fairly interesting from last night. But now it's the Florida Panthers, Edmonton Oilers. Panthers, similar situation to where they have to win this. They went all in. They've made the trade, the trade acquisitions. They were there a year ago, and they're going up against, right, one of the best players in the NHL. I don't want to say it's a similar matchup to the Celtics and but it almost is, right? The superstar player on one side versus the team that's been there before. I feel like you're going to get that in the Stanley Cup Finals, guys.
Yeah, McDavid is a different beast than Luka, though. He is far and away the best player in the league.
No doubt.
Luka is not that. I'm not saying Luka's not great. He's all time, but McDavid, Canada back in the cup. I think it's a good storyline. Skinner, if he can stay hot, the shot differential in that game last night was crazy. But for the NHL, I know you look at it on paper, Edmonton, Florida, it's the furthest matchup since ever, all time.
Yeah,
but
the
Bruins
Boston
Canucks was the furthest, but now this, so that's another little wrinkle too. But yeah, I'm very excited for Canada to hate Matthew Tkachuk because that's what's going to happen. Like, and I think it'll be a great series, but I just think the Panthers will wear him down.
I agree. They were built for this, made for this. It's their chance. They're the ones with the pressure, I feel like. Florida. Where Edmonton got there, they get the, you feel different on that one, huh?
Anytime a Canadian team with the best player in the world is in the Stanley Cup final, that's pressure. I mean, I get what you're saying in terms of, like, Florida's been there. They're probably going to, I haven't seen the odds, but I would imagine Florida is the favorite. So, from that perspective, yeah, they're going to have some free agents at the end of the year too. Some guys the Bruins might even be interested in. But a Canadian team in the final with the face of the league, like, this is McDavid's chance to really start to cement himself among, like, the all-timers.
Good point. I'll be watching. I thought it was really good, entertaining, both Eastern and Western Conference Finals. So I thought that was pretty good. I also wanted to just bring this up. Did you know, or maybe you probably heard this, but Jason Tatum and Tkachuk went to the same high school?
Yeah, Chaminade. There's, like, funny videos of them in high school together doing school projects.
How, you mean to tell, who was the best athlete? Between those two?
Well, whoever wins, right? Who wins
No, but
first?
I mean, like, one's got, I guess Tatum's dad played, I think, right?
Yep. He's a coach in Australia now, I believe.
But it's just two,
superstars.
Like,
literally superstars.
In the same class.
Hanging out in there's, like, you can see videos of them in the classroom, like, doing school projects and stuff together. They've been asked about it before. I think Tatum's talked about it. They weren't, like, best friends or anything, but they were the two top dogs.
One other thing I wanted to mention is the 2024 Stanley Cup Final. You're going to see Ekblad, Reinhart, Draisaitl, Sam Bennett. All were selected among the top 4 picks in the 2014 draft. On the other side here, I'm going to mention how both teams, the Celtics and the Mavericks, have built their teams around their draft picks and around their stars. So we'll get into that coming up in a minute here. One more betting note I wanted to mention. Besides 1986, right? So I'm looking this up. Since 1986, the Celtics, they're obviously favorites to win the championship. But they were underdogs in 87, 08, 2010, and 2022. This is the first time the Celtics have been favored in a finals since 1986. And what did they do in 86? Oh, they won. Just thought that was funny. Of these Celtics teams dating back to 87, they've been underdogs in every one of them. Thought that was interesting. All right, we'll get a quick look at the Sports Hub headlines. Continue to take your calls here. And as we mentioned, a lot of star power in this NBA Finals. A lot of good storylines, too, if you want to bring it up on that. But both teams have built around their stars. We'll get into that. We're also going to talk to Brian Robb. We're going to break down the series with him, get his thoughts on everything happening. I know he's been down there. I think he talked to Kyrie Irving today. A bunch of people talked to Kyrie Irving today as well. So we'll take a look at the Sports Hub headlines here. No commercials, just the headlines. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, home of the Celtics, Bruins, Revs, and Patriots.
Touchdown, Patriots!
Boston's home for sports is 98.5 The Sports Hub. Easily Root Station. Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Celtics-Mavs still play game one on Thursday night of the NBA Finals. Kristaps Porzingis should be ready to go. Celtics favorites in the series, minus 200 right now. Panthers and Edmonton Oilers. That's your Stanley Cup final. Panthers back-to-back years. Slight favorites, minus 110 to raise the cup. NFL news today. Justin Jefferson got his extension, $140 million, $80 guaranteed. Some sad news in the NFL today, though. Tackle Larry Allen of the Cowboys has passed away. He was 52 years old. Patriots have signed free agent wide receiver David Wallace. They released Andrew Stuber. He was an offensive lineman that was drafted from Michigan. No Red Sox tonight. They host Atlanta tomorrow. And Conor McGregor, he has suffered a minor injury, probably going to jeopardize the UFC 303 against Michael Chandler. Headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray, and this softball game is awesome.
This is Kristaps Porzingis.
Left-hand dribble, lobs it. Porzingis catches with one hand and throws it down.
You're listening to the home of Boston Celtics basketball. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You've talked a lot about kind of the spiritual journey you've been on, and getting to this point of happiness, protecting your peace. There are people in Boston who don't let go of the past, and you kind of know what's going to come your way in terms of animosity from the fan base. How do you approach that? How do you handle that? Going on to this stage?
I think I'm better at consolidating kind of the emotions now, or being aware of what it's going to be like. We call it animosity, we call it hate, we call it, it's going to be hell in Boston. I mean, there are real live circumstances going on in the world that are bigger than the basketball kind of competitive side of things and answering those questions. But I will say, last time in Boston, I don't think that was the best. Not this regular season, but when we played in the playoffs and everyone saw me flip off the birds and kind of lose my shit a little bit, that wasn't a great reflection of who I am and how I like to compete on a high level. It wasn't a great reflection on my end towards the next generation on what it means to control your emotions in that type of environment, no matter what people are yelling at you. I'm built for these moments to be able to handle circumstances like that. And I've been able to grow since then. So, of course, it's going to be a hectic environment, but I'm looking forward to it. And I see it as a healthy relationship to have with the fans. I almost think about Gladiator, just win the crowd over. It's good to hear the TD Garden silent when you're playing well. They still respect great basketball. So regardless of, the attention that's being paid to what it's going to be like on my end, I have a group to lead that's going to be looking to me for a voice of peace and to be able to control what I can control and also help them through it. So I'll take the brunt of it, of all the yells and stuff like that and all the remarks, but I've been able to grow since then and acknowledge that, I just can handle things better, especially when I want to put majority of my energy towards playing well. I can't just be getting into it with fans like that, even though it may be fun at times, but it's a waste of energy, it's a waste of my time, and it's also a waste of my talent trying to answer questions from the past that people have. And people are going to bring up the record and all the extra stuff. Again, there's idle time in between, so you see the media pundits doing their normal thing. It's cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the challenge on the court against the Boston Celtics and being able to lead my guys.
back here, 98.5, the Sports Hub. I rolled my eyes 5 times listening to that. I rolled my eyes. Did you feel it shake? By the way, the song, you can't, you won't, you won't. You can't, you don't, and you won't. Stop. Kyrie's not going to change everybody. And I bit the cheese. I was on with Matt McCarthy yesterday, and I saw the cheese. I said, he's a changed man. He's a changed man. He's happy with being the 2. You know, when your friend is like, you know, give him a shot. He's changed. Look at him. He's doing so well. He's doing so much better. He's changed. Give him a chance, you know? Man, I bit that cheese. And Matt McCarthy slapped me right in the face and said, wake up. It's Kyrie Irving, Joe. Wake up. He's never going to change. And I went, you know what, Matt? I think you're right. So I wanted the cheese. I bit the cheese. I ate the cheese.
It was rotten.
It was rotten. It was bad, and it was smelly.
It was quick.
It was quick. Slapped right in the face. No, it's true. It's true. How many times has somebody in your life, right? Give them a chance. They're changed. Look at him next to Luka. He's in such a better place.
This is what we heard with Durant. Like we've been here. We've seen it.
Don't fall for it, because I almost did. It took Matt McCarthy to be like, Joe, are you serious? I think he's changed, man. Did you hear him on SVP? He sounds like a changed man. And I fell right for it. This is Kyrie Irving. He's always been a great player. He has always been a great player. If there's one thing we can say about Kyrie, he's a hell of a basketball player. But you know what? He lets things get in his head. And you know what? It probably will happen again. He's been great. Yeah, great. Go to the Western Conference, beat up on all those teams. He has no relationship with any of them. What does he know about Minnesota or any of those teams? Nothing. But Boston, this is a place that was a bad time in his life. He saged it. Since then, it's been the reverse. He's lost every time. Every time. But don't bite the cheese. Don't do it. He's playing well, yes, because he's a great player. And he's playing because probably Luka, I have a feeling that Luka's the real alpha. What I mean by alpha, on that team, it's, hey, when's Luka coming to practice? Right?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. I think it's Luka's team.
And Kyrie has to show up and be on time and do the right things. And you know what? When Luka says go stand there, he stands there. So I don't think he could do that. He couldn't do it. But he hasn't changed. And that's where that's my fault for thinking he may have.
I think that's the frustration, though, if you're a Celtics fan. He could have done that. He didn't want to do it. They brought him in to be that guy, a champion, a clutch guy in the fourth quarter with a ring, future Hall of Famer. He was supposed to be that guy. He could have been that guy if he wanted to, but he didn't. He didn't want to deal with the young kids. He said it numerous times. He had a lot going on in his personal life that he let affect him, and he just didn't want to be the guy. And I think that's kind of a pattern with Kyrie. He was LeBron's second fiddle. They won a title. He tried it with Durant. It didn't work because guess what? Durant's not a real alpha either. So Kyrie needs a real number one. We never hear Kyrie criticized for it either. All we hear about is who's the Celtics' real number one, because apparently that matters to some people. With Luka and Kyrie, maybe because it's so evident, it doesn't matter. But Kyrie has shown that he can't be the number one. The Celtics wanted him to be, and he didn't have to always be their best player to be the Celtics' number one. He had to be their leader. He had to be the guy, and he had to be, the voice of reason, which we all know is a struggle for Kyrie.
Never.
So, yeah, exactly. So I think that's what it comes down to, is Kyrie is maybe, he's no Scottie Pippen. I'm not going to call him the best second fiddle ever, but that's where Kyrie is comfortable. It's Luka's team. It was LeBron's team. The Celtics tried to make it Kyrie's team, and that was not the way to go.
You know what's funny? I was going to do this whole breakdown on building around the Jays And I know I hate saying the Jays sometimes, but it's just easy. And then built how the Mavs have built around Luka. And you just mentioned the Celtics tried to have Kyrie be the number one. Kyrie couldn't do it. I think he saw the holes. I think he saw that the guys weren't ready yet. It's like guys weren't groomed yet. They're these star players that have all this talent, but what have they really gone through, you know? I think Kyrie saw it. So, in a way, was he wrong? No, but the way he handled it was terrible. I mean, he torched his way out of town. He torched it. Like, he just left and went to Brooklyn. Didn't give an opportunity to, have any of that. He was out. He literally, and I know people are more upset about him scuffing Lucky. He lied. He lied. Liar. He's a liar. He's a liar. He has not changed. You know why? Because he's a liar. He lied. And now we're supposed to think he's different? Don't bite that cheese. Don't do it. I did it. It's rotten. It's bad. Don't do it. He's a liar. And he's also, quite frankly, dude's kind of a big problem. I don't want that cloud near me. I don't want the Kyrie cloud. I don't want it following me. You stay in Dallas. But since he's been gone, I think these guys have figured it out.
And if they lose the finals, which I think they will, the Mavericks, would it shock anybody if in a year and a half, Kyrie has, scapegoated his way out of there too, where he blames the media for his relationship with Luka or anything? None of that would shock me. So Kyrie can say whatever he wants this week. It should be about basketball. The NBA Finals should be about basketball this week, but with Kyrie, there's always going to be that other thing with the Celtics because of how he left, because of the Lucky thing, however childish you may find that. It's just it's a Kyrie thing. The Celtics brought him in to be the guy, and he failed. And I think the fans will always look at him sideways for that, but the players certainly don't. So I think that's kind of a storyline too, where Tatum and Brown, and maybe because they know in the long run they were better off for it. They got more minutes, they got more reps, they got more opportunities.
They got more belief and trust too, and they built around them.
Absolutely.
They stopped going after the stars.
Maybe big picture, you're looking for a silver lining. That's kind of it. But with Kyrie, there will always be something extra because he's Kyrie.
He sucked. He said he was coming back, and he didn't.
If you'll have me.
If I'd like to come back if you have me. And then it's go ask Brad and all this other stuff.
We'll talk about it on June 1st or whatever it was.
Yeah. He didn't want. Because remember it was the end of the year and he didn't want to talk about it.
I think Kyrie's the number one athlete in my lifetime where he was probably my favorite player in the NBA before he was a Celtic, and he came to the Celtics and you couldn't stand him. It was such a rare thing. Everybody loved Kyrie.
You know why he was? Because you saw him, and he didn't play long in college, but he was great.
He's awesome. He's unbelievable.
Smooth, great. Played with LeBron. He was on national television.
Always looked like he was having fun out
there. And then you learned about him a little bit. The Uncle Drew movies, right? Every young player in the league likes him. They admired him. When I was growing up, Allen Iverson was everything. Right, his crossover, the way he played, brought his team to a final in 2001. That guy, that's how the younger kids now look up to Kyrie now.
I think Celtics, I don't know, maybe 98%, maybe even 100% of Celtics fans wanted nothing more than to embrace Kyrie, to have him here as the leader with, you have future cornerstones in Brown and Tatum, and now you're bringing in one of the clutchest players in the league with a ring, with all these accolades, Duke guy, the movie, like you said, it was all lined up for him, and he blew it all up. And so, for him to, say he's changed and all that, it's fans are fans, and especially in this market, no one cares if you've changed. Good for you. We're still going to boo you.
Yeah. Somebody goes, Joe, you went from I've been concerned for Kyrie to I'm out, and he's a liar in 24 hours. That's true. Yep. I was concerned about Kyrie, and now I'm out.
Call that tape development.
I air fried that thing. 400.
It came out burnt.
It came out
Overcooked.
Overcooked. Just like he's going to be defensively by Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Your thoughts at 617-779-0985. And you know who we're going to have next on the show? His name is Brian Robb. He works for Mass Live. He works here as well. And we're going to get a nice little series breakdown from B-Rob coming up next. I'm Joe Murray here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray.
right back here at 98.5, the Sports Hub. We got a big week, everybody. Thursday's the game. We got extensive coverage here on the night show and all throughout our station. We got Brian Robb here tonight. We'll talk to him in a minute. And then we got Dan Lifshatz later on tonight giving us his betting angles. So, and then I believe tomorrow night we get Evan Lazar to do a little bit of Patriots, and then Brian Barrett from The Ringer will be on tomorrow. And we'll have extensive coverage all week long until the finals. And right now joining us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline, his name is Brian Robb. He's over at Mass Live. And, well, B-Rob, I wanted to ask you this off the top. The Missoula ball has been criticized. It's been known to be a flaw, but it also led them to the best record in the NBA and in the NBA Finals this year. So I ask you, if they win this series, will it be because they played Missoula ball?
I would say yeah. To be honest, I mean, this is if you want to look at the regular season games between these two teams, Joe. Like these were situations where the Mavericks just had nowhere to hide their defenders, and the Celtics had 5 guys on the floor that could shoot. And over the course of a 7-game series, if the Celtics play good, sound process offense that just are finding themselves open looks time after time, it doesn't have to be all threes, but if you get the Mavericks selling out at the perimeter, then you can attack them, on the catch and drive stuff and really punish them on the interior as well, because the help defense is not going to be able to be there if they have to guard Al Horford or Porzingis on the perimeter for some of their true bigs there. So this is a formula where all season long they've been winning with the threes. They don't necessarily have to do it to win this series. They've been better about finding other ways to win without being over-reliant on the 3 ball this year. I think that's a big difference from year 1 to year 2 under Missoula, but there's no doubt that if they do win, I think it's a pretty high probability that they won this series at the 3-point line while doing it.
Yeah, and what I mean by Missoula ball is, yes, emphasizing a 3-point shot, but also the ball movement, right? Looking for the double team, looking for the open looks. In the previous matchup, or in the 2 matchups this year, Jaylen Brown had almost 40 points inside the paint. So, with that ball movement, that's how it helps you inside the paint. And just a couple other things regarding the regular season. Whenever the Celtics, shot or outshot their opponent from the 3-point line, they won. They won 11-0. But here's a couple of other things I just wanted to bring up. The Celtics have shot over 43s in 7 of their 10 games in the playoffs. The Mavericks have only hit that number once in their 17 games. So, the way I look at it here is that alone, the volume on the Celtics, and especially if Jason Tatum, gets hot or hits his shots, it's good night in 5 games, in my opinion.
Yeah, and just talking to people behind the scenes, Joe, that's the thing of the Celtics have gone whatever. They've lost 2 games in the run to the NBA Finals here, and I think they think they can be a lot better offensively because they've been getting good quality shots, but if they have that record, Joe, and Jason Tatum is shooting 29% from 3 in the playoffs so far. So if he even has an average shooting series and the rest of the team holds their own on that front, they're going to be miles ahead of what Dallas does on the perimeter, because Dallas just doesn't have the type of reliable shooters that the Celtics do. They have guys that have done well in these past series with the Derek Joneses and the PJ Washingtons kind of shooting over their head a little bit. But is that going to be able to sustain against a top-ranked defense with the Celtics? And are the Celtics just going to turn Dallas and turn Luka and Kyrie into being, tough 2-point getters? And that's when you do the math on that against what the Celtics can do, that's going to be tough for them to keep pace.
All right, B-Rob, I've talked enough about Kyrie and, Luka being the star and Brown and Tatum and Missoula ball. Let's look at some of the other people. And you wrote an article about Derek Jones. What type of impact will he have in this series, and what can he do defensively for the Mavericks?
He's going to be huge for them. They just don't have many guys they can throw at Tatum and Brown. And we know Kyrie and Luka can't handle those guys. So Derek Jones is pretty much probably their best option because P.J. Washington, I think, has been cooked pretty regularly when he was in Charlotte when he tried to guard those guys. And the same was true in that March matchup as well when he had joined Dallas. So, Jones has the track record of being a defense-first guy. He obviously has the length. He can but he doesn't really have the strength. And this is a matchup where I do think that, Tatum is going to, and Brown, both of those guys, they should be able to bully Jones, even though he has a bit of a size advantage on them. But he's certainly going to be a wild card in the series from the standpoint of the Celtics. My guess is defensively they're going to leave him open a lot from the three-point line. They're not going to be believers in the fact that, if you're going to help off anyone in that starting five, he's going to be the guy. And so during this playoff run, he is at 39%. So it is but if you look at his career, he's just a 31, 32% three-point shooter. So we're interesting to see just how much respect they give him, or if they dare him to be, Caleb Martin of last year, if you will.
So was he supposed to be? I know the Celtics were interested in him. I know he left the Bulls, right, and he ended up signing with Dallas. But from what I remember, I think the Celtics kind of liked him to be a backup or help out on that wing.
Yeah, no, he would have been right there. I think he would have been essentially probably a better version of Brissett for this team if he had signed. Competing with Hauser for those minutes, maybe being, probably would have maybe gotten some of the minutes that ultimately went to Luke Cornett here as the third or fourth guy off the bench if he had signed. But it's credit to him. He saw what the Celtics had here. He saw he made his decision before they traded for Drew Holiday, so there was clearly a little bit more opportunity there back then. But, at that point, Malcolm Brogdon and Rob Williams are still on this roster. So he saw a place in Dallas where it's I can, there's more opportunity for me there, and he's kind of lived up to it. But it's fascinating now that, he would have clearly had his priority was, he wanted to be playing for a winner, and Dallas got there, but now he's going against a team that certainly would have put him in a far better position to get a title right now in Boston, but maybe just not the same amount of opportunity.
All right, we're talking about Brian Robb. He's from Mass Live. I think we know most of the storylines, but I just wanted to ask about a couple of other guys for Dallas. We know the name Tim Hardaway Jr., and Jaden Hardy is a player I've watched for a while. Does the longer layoff allow both teams to go a little bit more short? And would you expect to see any guys like a Hardy, Hardaway, even Dante Exum for that matter in the series?
Yeah, I think we're going to definitely see – you're definitely going to see Exum. He's played every game but one for the Mavs during the playoff round. He hasn't played much, but he gives them more of a defensive look, and I think they're going to at least try that at times. So maybe, slow down Drew Holiday, slow down Derek White on times when, Kyrie's getting a little bit of rest. Tim Hardaway Jr., Joe, is really interesting. They were really relying on him for years now, but he's kind of just fallen out of the rotation entirely in this last series against Minnesota because they've gotten better minutes out of Hardy. And so I assume that Hardy's going to stick with that. He's shooting 40% from three. He's a bit of just like a wild card out there where he can, maybe a Jordan Poole light, if you will, back in the day when he was a bench spark off of Golden State during the finals a couple years ago. But I think those guys are they're going to play. They have a bunch of different guys off the bench, and no one plays a ton of minutes outside of Lively and Josh Green off the bench. Those are the two guys are going to play a lot. But now that Maxi Kleber being back, he's going to be another rotational big in there, and I would expect Hardy is going to be the guy who gets the most run when push comes to shove, because I think Dallas is going to need the offense to try to keep pace with the Celtics scoring attack against them, and he provides them a lot more upside to do that at this point than it looks like Hardaway Jr. does.
Can you just talk about Jason Kidd, his multiple stops, failures, going back to the team that he won with, that drafted him as well? What has he done different, and is it just the fact that they've maybe reloaded around Luka Doncic? They had a couple of they had Jalen Brunson and Dinwiddie and those guys. Now it's PJ Washington and Gafford and Lively. So is that really what it was, or is Kidd a big part of this?
I think you have to give Kidd a little bit of credit, but to be honest, I think he's kind of how big he's been. I think Luka and him, Kidd's a guy that Luka's going to respect and Kyrie's going to respect, and I do think that matters for a team like this. You have those guys here, you have them on the same page as they've been able to coexist better this year than last year after the trade deadline initially. But beyond that, Joe, I do think this is more of a personnel situation where they just got guys that fit better around those two, with whether it's PJ Washington, whether it was Daniel Gafford. It's more of guys and moving on from Grant Williams, who Luka obviously didn't like playing with after half a season. So, but I think over the course of this playoffs now, it's going to be a fascinating test. This is another coaching matchup that Joe Mazzulla can win. And that was going into this postseason, Joe. I feel like it was a big question mark of like, okay, how's Mazzulla going to do in year 2 against some proven names? And he obviously held his own against Spoelstra in that series, and I think he outcoached Bickerstaff, and I think he outcoached Rick Carlisle very well. Clearly, the Celtics had the talent advantage there, but they, made the most of their crunch time situations as well. And now you go against Kidd here. This is another situation where Kidd has the longer resume as both as a player and the coach, but has not done it on this type of a stage yet. And so, if I think Mazzulla has. If can swing things in the Celtics' favor on that front, that could very well help wrap up the series for them.
All right, I got a Kyrie question in a minute here, but first, Jeff Van Gundy potentially going to the bench. They've liked what he's done. What has he done, and would that be basically replacing Charles Lee?
I would assume so, and it's a situation where he's been on the road a ton this year, Joe. Like every single road trip I've gone on in the second half of the season, he's at shoot-arounds. He's out there a couple hours before games. He's been at pretty much every practice where they let the media in late, and he's just hanging around the court. So he's been a constant presence all year long, and I've been I think a Brad Stevens confidant for a while now. I've been going back to his TV broadcasting days. So for him, I imagine it's a situation where the Celtics would clearly love to have him as a top assistant coach. Whether Van Gundy wants to do that at this stage of his career with his resume is another thing, but maybe he sees a situation where, if he wants to be a head coach again, like you kind of have to prove it again. He hasn't been, on the bench in 15 plus years since leaving the Rockets back in it was 2008 or something like that. And so now he sees Charles Lee. This is obviously got propelled to a job in Charlotte with great work as Joe Mazzulla's right-hand man this year. And so if Van Gundy has the itch still and wants to get back to that, or just simply wants to, be on the bench again, it could clearly be a great opportunity for him to do that, because he's built a rapport with Mazzulla now and built a rapport with the rest of the players after being around the team for a year.
I think that's just a huge storyline, man. It's just, when Ime got let go, it was Mazzulla, right? And it wasn't his guys. It just wasn't.
Yep.
Right? Damon Stoudemire, I think, probably wanted the job, didn't get it. Other guys moved on as well. Like, just thrown into that situation and where they are now, I'll tell you, B-Rob, a year ago at this time, like this date a year ago, I didn't think that there could be this type of turnaround in 1 year. And here I am saying now that his philosophy is going to win them a championship.
It is. It's crazy how much difference a year. I mean, if they lose that game, even if they lose in 5 to the Heat, Joe, if they don't make that respectable, I feel like it's very possible that, Joe would have been gone. Or even if they lost the game 6 down in Philly, which they were very close to doing. But now with the benefit of, bringing in the right guys on the staff, whether it's Charles Lee, Sam Cassell is another name who's been bounced around now. I think it'll be interesting whether the Celtics are going to be able to retain him, even if he doesn't get a head coaching job somewhere. He's going to be a highly sought after assistant coach around the league after the team's success this year. But Mazzulla has definitely put his stamp on this team, gotten a lot more comfortable in year 2, just with his extra preparation time, being able to bring in guys he wants to be on his staff. And now they'll have to, find those guys again to help fill these holes once they get through these finals.
So one last one. I've been buying the Kyrie hype about him being different and changing until Matt McCarthy smacked me in the face yesterday and said, Joe, don't bite that cheese, and I didn't. But it took me a while. I started to buy into it, right? You probably were there today. You heard him today. He talks too long. I lose him. I roll constantly. Do you feel different? Because I listen, you can take him out of Boston. You can take him out of Brooklyn. He's still Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I'm on that train. It's a situation now where he can be on his best behavior for a year or two, but I still can't take away the fact of him just flat out quitting on the team in that Bucks series and coming close to pretty much self-sabotaging the team with his demanding to guard Giannis. After bringing down the film so much of that 5 years ago, and just with the way he handled talking about his teammates and throwing guys under the bus over the course of that season, it's a situation where now I can't, even if he's reformed in some ways, you hear him talk, and some of the same attributes that drove the fan base crazy a few years ago are still there. So it's I hope Boston fans do it civil. I hope, but Kyrie, I think when you hear him talk about it today, he knows what's coming, and he knows he asked for it. This wasn't just the way he left out the door. There's a lot of stuff that's gone on in between that certainly has rubbed Boston fans the wrong way there. So it's going to be a fascinating subplot to see how that's handled and how he reacts to that. Since clearly, or whether it's a situation, Joe, where it kind of is a story for game one, but then Luka emerges as like the bigger villain over the course of the series because he's doing more damage, or some play happens involving him where he takes some of the heat off of Kyrie. So how that subplot evolves over the course of the series is going to be fascinating. But there's no doubt where the attention is going to be at 8:30 on Thursday night, and that's going to be on Boo showering Kyrie Irving.
All right, he's Brian Robb, and we're going to be here every night till 1 a.m., so that should be fun.
Love it.
What do you got? What do you guys got going on at Mass Live? Extensive coverage?
Yeah, we're going to be all over it. Myself, Suichi, Karen Gregan, Matt Roper will be all in the building, and we'll have wall-to-wall coverage all game, all night, and from down in Dallas as well. So I'll definitely, hopefully, be checking in a few over the course of the next couple of weeks here, checking out you and Tyrone post-game. It'll be it should be a fun couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's Dallas. Pecan Lodge. That's where you go for barbecue. I went there 2 years ago.
Pecan Lodge?
Pecan, yes. I called it Pecan Lodge, but then someone from Dallas called me to say that there's a big difference between a pecan and a pecan.
There you go. That's all right. I'll be texting you from down there, Joe.
Yes.
You're my insider. You're my go-to.
I was there 2 years ago, and I got good breakfast and good barbecue. There's really good barbecue in Texas. You believe that?
I believe that. Would you do WrestleMania down there? Where'd you go down there for?
WrestleMania a couple of years ago. It was the stadium. Yeah, is awesome. Obviously, you're going to be in a different area, but it should be wild, man. This is there's a lot of. It's not boring, right? The national media, the Celtics are boring. This will not be a boring series by any means. B-Rob, appreciate you, bro, and we'll be reading your stuff all week long here, man.
All right, thanks, Joe. Thanks, Hammer.
He's Brian Robb. Check him out. MassLive.com. Works with us here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Does an excellent job. And we're going to go to break. So I wanted to ask about the other guys, the Hardys, those type of guys. Sneaky Jones, these guys. Well, here we are not talking about him now, but could be making an impact. I saw Dougie McBuckets making shots, remember, for the Pacers? I went, hey, it's McBuckets. I want him on the team just for, the McBuckets angle to McNuggets.
I think I'd bring his dad in before I'd bring him in at this point. But make him an assistant coach.
Can I give you one food take that someone told me this weekend?
Oh, boy.
Just one. It'd be quick.
Here we go.
You like McNuggets, right? Everybody likes a McNugget.
Yeah, but I haven't had a McNugget in 20 years, but yeah.
Do you like pickles?
Honestly, not really. I mean, they're fine. They're
fine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone told me to order McNuggets and then get a side of pickles, take a bite of the nugget, put the pickle inside, and then eat it.
It's too involved.
It's kind of like a fried pickle. I mean, a fried...
Yeah, if you want a fried pickle, just go get them. McDonald's pickles, I mean, come on.
That's true. They come in a bag. I worked there years ago. I like my pickles out of a jar. Remember, what was the guy? The pickles sniffer? What was his name?
Yeah, yeah. I'll have to look that one up. Swiss cheese.
The guy who would stick his head in the pickle juice.
Yeah, he was the predecessor to the Swiss cheese.
And then we heard about the Swickle, which is the Swiss cheese pickle. I'm being really careful over here. I got a good dump streak going.
You're regular.
Hey, we got to go to break. I'm Joe Murray here at 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub Headline.
which kind of slows down the decision-making process. So for me, we brought in 17 new coaches, and I have to have faith that I made good choices there. And so if I'm bringing these guys in, it doesn't make sense for me to micromanage them because they aspire to be, coordinators and head coaches as well. And I want those guys to grow. So from my perspective, it's about developing not only the players, but also the coaches and giving them opportunities to really take their role by the horns and develop their room.
On the line, you get on the line. When the coach says do sprints, you do sprints. When the coach says everybody down, everyone gets down in the three-point stance. Right? Like, it's what you do. You're told what to do. But micromanaging, out. I told you I worked in the tech world before here. And there are these things called KPIs where you're judged on your calls per day. How many minutes were your calls? Did any of your calls lead to an appointment? Do you have a follow-up set up? All that stuff, out! I've done it. I'll do it again if I have to. And if this job doesn't work out, that's where I'm going. Going right back to the KPI machine. But, micromanaging, woof. Just the worst. Did Bill Belichick micromanage? Do you feel like he was that kind of guy? I don't know. I just looked at it as like, if you're an adult, you should figure it out. Do you think he treated guys like kids? I know that there's a smear campaign on Bill right now, but he wasn't a micromanager.
Do you think Mayo views it as sort of like Belichick had to have a say in every little thing, like positional coaches felt like they couldn't, have their own meetings or maybe, have their voices be heard, like micromanage in that sense, whereas Belichick had, he was spread too thin maybe where he, like in terms of that sense, maybe that's what Mayo was talking about. But when I think of Belichick, I don't necessarily think of a micromanager. I just think of a guy who was very involved, and maybe those go hand in hand. But to me, yeah, it's odd. The language seems very poignant, very, like they're very careful with what they're saying now.
Absolutely. He goes, we brought in 17 new coaches. I have faith that I made good choices. Doesn't make sense for me to micromanage them. They aspire to be coordinators and head coaches as well, and I want those guys to grow. So from my perspective, it's about developing not only the players, but also the coaches and giving them opportunities to really take their role by the horns. That's a Belichick shot.
Yeah, so to me, that's kind of like what was Belichick just like too involved in every positional meeting.
Well, he wouldn't give guys titles.
Yeah, so maybe that's where Mayo's coming from.
He even got involved in the offense when Mac Jones was here.
Like, these guys need titles so they can put them on their resume and get jobs down the line, and Mayo wants to be a coach's coach and a player's coach. So, he's playing both sides.
Let me tell you, this is going to be the biggest storyline of the year for me. Can Gerard Mayo coach? X's and O's, can he coach? I don't even know if he was coaching the defense. I really don't. Everyone says he was. Can the guy coach? Can I be critical of that, by the way? Is it okay to be critical about the unknown? I don't know if Gerard Mayo can coach. I don't know. He wants to be this. He wants to be that. Can he be a coach? I don't know. We're going to find out. But I keep saying the way that the offseason was handled by him, that's going to me, that's what it looks like it's going to be on the field. But, I just want to, if we could, can we just pin that as like a story? I'll write the story now. I'll give you 300 words right now. And then can we just pin it? Can Gerard Mayo coach? And every week we just update it. I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. I don't know anything except that he worked at Optum once. Know what I do know, though? In or out is next. Are you in? Or are you out? We'll do that coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, it's Hardy. Don't spend another summer trying to stay cool with your crappy old window AC units. Call my friends at Revise for a free estimate on a new ductless mini split system. They're ultra efficient, super quiet, and can be used to heat and cool your home. Call 800-855-SAVE or visit callrevise.com and make sure to tell them that Hardy sent you.
Witness insurmountable deficits transformed into unforgettable victories at the Travelers Championship, the Northeast's one and only PGA Tour's signature event. And it's nearby in Connecticut. Watch Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Victor Hovland, Patrick Cantlay.
Murray on the Sports Zone.
Are you in or out? Gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is...
Team. Chase and Higgins. What's happened with that? You think Joe's... That I think could be worth a lot of money, so I have an interest in that.
All right, Joe, we'll stay with the NFL then. The Houston Texans unveiled new uniforms today. They're in Slack. I'm sure you've seen them. I don't like them, I'll say that. But, Joe, are you in or out on the Texans' new uniforms?
So, I think they're better than the last ones.
They're very college / like XFL to me.
But they are college though. Like CJ Stroud is their quarterback. Now I did see Stephon Diggs in his number 1. That looked good. An old single number jersey. Oh.
My question is, so it says H-Town on the front. Is that, I'm not from Houston, never been, like, I'm thinking of like a Patriots uniform with like Beantown on the front where we would scoff at that. Is that something that people from Houston actually call it, like H-Town? To me, that's very like, just minor leagues, XFL, like, I'm out. I'm out on the new jerseys. I didn't love the like old Texans jerseys, but I thought they were better than these.
Yeah, when I typed in H-Town, that's exactly what they are.
No, I'm sure someone calls them that, but like people refer to Boston as Beantown, but nobody here actually likes that or says it.
H-Town made the story behind the fan-led design.
So there you go.
That's why it's
hey, if it's what they actually do, then fine. But I think it's Bush League.
It's like those chowder guys. Or the guy who has the can I say this? I'll say screw you, Kyrie shirt. That guy's going to get paid.
Yeah, they've been there for 5 years. They're just holding on to T-shirts. Now they can sell them all.
They've been waiting for this day. Back on the market. Screw you, Kyrie shirts. All right, what else we got?
All right, Joe, we'll head to the world of tacos for this one. I had a nice laugh this morning when you put this in Slack, and I had it on my Twitter likes to put in Slack as well. But we are getting Cinnamon Toast Crunch taco shells. Joe, are you in or out?
Okay, I'm out. But you know I'm going to try it.
What if it's not for taco meat? What if you're putting some ice cream in there and like some apple pie or something?
And
see, there you go. You got to think outside the box.
But is that still a taco?
Yeah, it's an ice cream taco.
Because the ice cream would be the Choco Taco?
Yeah. Now you got an ice cream taco. It's a Cinnamon Toast Crunch taco shell.
Now this is a tough decision.
Yeah, you can't view it as a taco meat shell.
It could be meat. It could be shrimp.
Dessert taco.
I'm not putting shrimp in my Cinnamon Crunch.
No. We had that one guy. Remember that on Twitter? That was a weird day. Guy found shrimp in his Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Never really got
Cheez-It. You ever had the cheddar Cheez-It?
Oh, yeah.
I also like the half and half cheese, half cheddar Cheez-It. Wow, I almost couldn't say that. Sorry. I'm in on that. In.
Yeah, that's one you got to try. If you're a Taco Bell guy, why not?
No lettuce.
No, out on the lettuce.
No tomato either.
Yeah, I'm not a big tomato guy myself.
And I don't love like a spoonful of sour cream. I like to dip sour cream. I don't want it just in a spoon slopped on. I want to dip it in sour cream.
All right, Joe, moving on. I believe this is one of your favorite actors, one of mine as well, but Giancarlo Esposito has been announced as a villain in the upcoming Captain America. I'm not sure if it's a movie or a show, but Joe, are you in or out on Giancarlo Esposito playing a villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
In. He should just be Gus, Los Pollo, whatever, everywhere. Right?
Yeah, I mean, he was in the new Mandalorian show. He was awesome in that.
What? I didn't see that other one after Better Call Saul that he was in. I didn't see that show. But Gus Fring, he's great.
Yeah, he plays Moff Gideon, I think, in the Star Wars movies. He's a very good villain in those things.
He's 66 years old.
He looks good. I think he's one of the best going.
Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Breaking Bad. He has a scene where he like looks like the Terminator in the hospital. Also, there's a few Easter eggs from Better Call Saul about some of the things that happened in Breaking Bad, and Gus was a part of it. I don't want to. People haven't seen it yet. I've been told about spoiling stuff. That's what I get emails on.
Spoiling stuff?
Yeah, not about like, hey, talk more sports, or hey, you're an idiot. None of that. It's always about, hey, stop spoiling stuff.
What are you spoiling?
Shows.
I feel like there's got to be, if something's been out for a while, it's on you.
Do you know what I got last night? Someone said, have you seen the 75 yet? And I haven't. Have you?
I don't even know what it is.
Okay, then.
What is it?
It's a crime movie. And someone goes, you haven't seen it yet? I said, no. And she goes, stop what you're doing right now. I go, dude, it's midnight.
Yeah.
My buddy Murph. You got to watch it right now. I'm like, dude, it's midnight. Plus, I had to pay for it. Out. I don't. If you got to go online and it's out.
I got enough streaming services. If it's not on one of them, I'm probably not.
Yeah, if it's not on the ones that I already own, the cord will always be there. Anyways, whatever. What else we got? Anything else?
All right, Joe. We'll end with this one.
I'm still thinking about this taco.
I knew it. All right, Joe. We'll end with this one. You mentioned it earlier on in the show. Celtics coaching staff getting poached. The big rumor today is that the Bucks want to make Sam Cassell the highest paid assistant coach in the league. Joe, are you in or out on Sam Cassell to the Bucks?
Scary, but I'm in. Ooh. My only problem is this. Is he's a first-time coach, right? Head coach? Do you think he could bring a defensive philosophy to them?
I would think so.
They'd have to bring guys in who buy in, though. Is he the best coach available? What about like Kenny Atkinson or someone like that? You know what? Cassell to the Bucks would be a loss for the Celtics. So I'm in on it for the Bucks' sake of it.
Don't you think it's weird that they want to bring him in as an assistant, though?
Oh, not as a head coach?
So the original tweet, that's what confused me as well, but the original tweet reads, rumors persist the Bucks want to hire Celtics assistant coach Sam Cassell. I'm hearing the Bucks are willing to make him the highest paid assistant coach in the league to get it done.
Out.
So yeah, I can't imagine he'd
This is like Josh McDaniels, or if he was an assistant.
Leaving to be an assistant somewhere else.
What, the Celtics won't pay him?
Yeah, I mean, I would think they'd pony up if it came to that.
I guess Jaylen Brown and Sam Cassell play one-on-one every single game, every day.
Yeah, Jaylen said he's up like 70-10 on him or something like that.
Can't believe he gave up 10.
Yeah, he probably starts with the ball first every once in a while.
I'll never forget Sam Cassell playing with the Rockets when he first came on the scene. Good player. Helped them win a championship. Two championships.
I remember him and Glenn Robinson on those, what was it, the T-Wolves together?
The Big Dog.
They were, they were good.
He was the number one pick out of Purdue.
He was one of my NBA Jams guy.
Kid was good, at least.
He would be an NBA Jams player for sure.
Is that it for tonight?
Yeah, I think that we got a couple more. We'll save them.
Yeah, we got a whole week.
Whole week.
2 more nights and a Friday. I brought one up earlier that I can't remember what it was. What was it? In or out on something? Thought I put it in the chat.
There was a Caitlin Clark one, but I figured 9:13.
Yeah,
save it for tomorrow. Everyone else
By
has
the way,
already done it today.
I'll let everybody else have a take on Caitlin Clark for today.
A lot of real dumb takes out there.
I'm just. If someone asks me, what can you give me 10 seconds on it? Every star player usually has teammates that protect their best player. That's my opinion. Some of her teammates, I think, need to step up for her. Right? Is that a bad take?
No.
Did I offend anybody?
I don't think so. You never know, though.
I just want her teammates to defend her. We would say it about the Celtics, Patriots, anybody else if someone did
Connor
it.
Bedard.
There you go.
First pick by the Blackhawks. They brought in guys like Nick Foligno. They brought in a couple other guys to protect him, and he still got targeted and ended the season with a broken jaw a couple months in, I think. So, yeah, it's an unfortunate part of sports, but it is a part of sports to, have to deal with stuff like that. And obviously, there's a lot of nuances that go into it and stuff like that. But, yeah, some of the conversation around it has gotten a little out of control.
Everyone's talking about it.
Hey. It's good.
She's bringing in the bacon.
It's good for the league.
She was wearing yesterday, they show now what she wears.
Look like a pajama suit or something.
Pajama with heels.
That's tough. I don't know how they do that.
I mean, I'm not judging her on her dress.
No.
She can wear whatever she wants to wear.
Absolutely, but
But now it's like she's being judged on her garment.
Heels, I can barely walk in shoes. I don't know how they do that.
Barely walk in boat shoes. Flip-flops.
Get some Crocs.
Crocs. They're great at the beach, though. I am out on Crocs, but man, at the beach, in the sand, going in the ocean, you don't have to worry about the rocks or the seaweed or anything. In on Crocs in the ocean, out on Crocs in general. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
WBC-FM HD1 from the Town Fair Tire Studios, the home of the Patriots, the Celts, the Revs, and the Bruins. Boston's home for sports is 98.5 The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Rotation. Sports Hub headlines.
Justin Jefferson got paid a lot of money. 4 years, $140 million, $80 guaranteed. Former Cowboys tackle Larry Allen passed away at the age of 52. While the Patriots have signed rookie free agent David Wallace, they released Andrew Stuber. Panthers, Oilers in your Stanley Cup final. Celtics-Mavs play Game 1 on Thursday night. And Conor McGregor has suffered a minor injury. Jeopardizes the UFC 303 card with match Michael Chandler. Headlines, they are brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Pledge not to buy bigger shorts this summer. Fit into last year's shorts or even last decade's shorts. It's just weeks awake. In just weeks. Let me read that again. Make a pledge not to buy bigger shorts this summer. Fit into last year's shorts or even last decade's shorts in just weeks with Awaken 180. I'm Joe Murray. I got it right. Bye.
Al Horford.
This is Al Horford.
Al Horford catching slam. Horford for three.
You're listening to the home of Boston Celtics basketball. 98.5, The Sports Hub.
Got MVP. Who you got for MVP? We'll get into more about the two teams and how they've built it and who has more to lose, Tatum or Luka. So we got all that. We're here until 11 o'clock tonight. And coming up next, we're going to talk to a bankroll boy. We'll get his thoughts on the series. His name is Dan Lifshatz, part of the Over Under podcast and Over Under show Saturdays here. We'll talk to him, get his thoughts on Mavericks and Celtics coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. It's NBA Finals week. Celtics and Mavericks. Everybody's got a thought. I think everybody's betting on this thing. The Celtics clearly the favorites. We mentioned last time they were favorites going into a final was 1986. They've been underdogs every other playoff besides this one this upcoming season. Well, let's go to the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. We'll welcome in a bankroll boy. He's Dan Lifshatz. You can hear him Saturdays 7 to 9 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Dan, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Just got back from Florida, so I'm less pale than usual and slightly less rested as well, but, ready for some basketball, which, again, we're going to wait 2 more freaking days for, but here we are.
So the odds came out. Celtics, 2-1. Let's just call it 2-1 favorites.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on the initial line, and how much do you take both teams' paths going into it? Do you think it means anything when the odds are set?
So, I don't really care about the path in terms of where the odds are set. I think that's basically mostly matchup dependent and those sort of things. I made it right around Celtics minus 200, minus 205, but, despite that being my number, kind of what I made it, I like the Celtics, I bet them a little bit higher. I bet like minus 215, which is something I normally don't do, but I did bet, above the price that I made, which, again, something I normally don't do. I just, I really like the matchup for them. I do like the series for them, and it has been kind of a situation where I'm going to kind of go out of my price zone, which is very rare for me, but I do like the Celtics to win the series, and so I've attacked it a number of different ways, but I did bet the series price as well.
Oh, yeah, I like the Celtics, too. I'm not hiding it behind any. I like the Celtics in 5. The reason why is I think they're going to win because of Mazzulla ball, right? Everything that people thought it was flawed, they shoot too many threes. That's the reason why I think they're going to win this series, because I don't think Dallas can keep up shot for shot, even though in the regular season they did. But when it comes to the playoffs, Luka Doncic has been more ISO than the team throwing up threes. So that's why I like the Celtics in the series.
Yeah, the one thing that Dallas really has done pretty well, Joe, is they have defended the driving kick pretty well, which is a concern for me, especially with the Mazzulla ball factor. They've been, the number one driving kick defense in the league for, I think, since basically the trade deadline, since they acquired Washington and Gafford. They've really rearranged the whole team. It's that, and I think the path for the Mavericks to win is basically, playing stellar defense on those driving kicks, making Boston make that extra pass and force them into that, which they really didn't do, a lot at certain times in some of the series before. And the other thing is they're just so much deeper than the Celtics. I've heard, how many times on the station, and just a lot of people talking about this, how deep the Celtics are. The Mavericks can go like 9-10 deep if they want to. Tim Hardaway Jr., who was, a front runner for Sixth Man of the Year, has found himself outside of the rotation at times. To say that the Celtics are the deeper team is just factually incorrect. They're not. So I think those are the two ways that, the Mavericks can beat the Celtics. They're playing that driving kick defense and really being a lead on the outside and defending the perimeter at a very high level and using their depth to their advantage, because they absolutely will have the advantage in that situation.
When it comes to the Finals MVP, in your opinion, what's the best value and what's the best pick?
I think they're the same. I think it's Jaylen Brown plus 650. That's available on DraftKings right now. They're 625, I think is what I posted on Twitter today. Just kind of split the baby because a lot of places have 6-1 around there. But, you can get 650 at a bunch of different shops as well. I think to me that is the best value, and I think that is also the best price just in general right now. I think, in terms of the type of play that we've seen, don't get me wrong, Jason Tatum has definitely been the leader at times, but who has been the more clutch of the two guys so far this postseason? It certainly has not been Tatum. If Jaylen Brown doesn't make that corner three, for the miracle win against the Pacers, Tatum doesn't have those 10 points in overtime, and we're having a very different that game takes a very different storyline about who is the better player, and it certainly was Jaylen Brown in that. I just think Jaylen Brown was the better player in that series, significantly better. I was really surprised by how the voting was split, to be honest with you. Again, I'm not a Tatum hater by any means. I'm not telling you let's take Anthony Edwards over Jason Tatum. I'm not trying to do that. I'm merely just saying, out of the two guys, Jaylen Brown was your better player in that series, and I don't think it was very close. And I think he's playing some of the best basketball of his career. I like the way that he's playing right now. I think, just under 7-1 is a ridiculous price for a guy who I think could realistically be the second or third best player in the series. So I really like that. If you're looking for a super long shot, like a fun one, I think Drew Holiday is a good one. I think Westgate is like 100-1. I think Circa is 75-1. Some other places probably have 50-1. I still think, regardless, you want to get the best price. But I think that would be a good long shot price, Joe, is, a guy who can play lockdown defense, who has really stepped his game up, and, especially in the last series, really played very well at times, shut down the Pacers and kind of won them and stole them a game here or there. So I think Drew Holiday is definitely worth a look. And if you like the Mavs and you don't like the Celtics, I think it's probably going to be Kyrie. I think Kyrie is going to be the guy who kills you.
Yeah, what do you think? You said he's going to be the guy that kills you. I've been biting the cheese, Dan. I thought that maybe he's different. That girl you always tell, hey, he might be different. No, I don't. He's not different. And Matt McCarthy kind of woke me up and said, "Don't bite the cheese, Joe." You know what? I don't bite the cheese. Maybe he's coming off as being different, but I still he's struggled, right? He's like 0 for his last 10 against the Celtics since he saged the building. I mean, he's played well against them, but I don't know, man. I'm curious. What do you think? Like, are you going to play his player props or anything like that when it comes to points?
It's really, again, it's going to be game dependent. It's probably going to vary. It's probably going to go up and down. I think last series he was around that 22.5, 23.5 area, for points. If that's the case, I'll probably be looking at, certain times. I will say, despite the fact that I do like the Drew Holiday MVP prop for a longer shot, I mean, him and Derek White really did struggle if you look at the isolation matchups defensively. Those guys really did struggle defending Kyrie and Doncic in the regular season. Despite the fact the Celtics won those matchups, those two guys specifically struggled in their defensive matchups, and that's concerning. So, I do think that Kyrie is the type of guy who kind of does rise to moments in certain situations. Now, he has to be in the right situation. I think we know that, obviously. But, again, let's not forget, this is the same guy who hit a dagger 3 against the Warriors to win an NBA title a few years ago. Is he a crappy person, and is he the same guy, as he was back then? Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I don't think he's changed at all. But does he have moments of clutch and elite play? Absolutely. I don't think you can take that away from him. I think that's why, people like me and others wanted him to stay in Boston. And so the reality of the situation is I do think that he is a guy who, if the Mavericks kind of get on a roll and get some momentum, I think he is a guy who absolutely can hurt the Celtics and certainly can be that type of player. So he would be my longer shot bet for the Mavericks at, like a 22-1 MVP, Joe. And I think there is going to be some extra attention probably paid to Luka Doncic defensively. So yeah, I do think that Kyrie Irving is probably worth a look over here and there for point props.
All right, and anything on Kristaps Porzingis? Is there like an over/under on how many games he'll play, or any of that? And do you think they need him to win the championship?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's a necessity with the way that Dallas goes, Gafford and Washington at the 4 and 5. I think he's an absolute necessity. You can't roll out Al Horford and Luke Cornett in this situation because they'll do what Indiana kind of did game 1 is they'll start dominating you on the interior, except for the fact that Rick Carlisle's not the coach. It's Jason Kidd, and Jason Kidd has been a fantastic coach this year. He will make sure that they continuously do that, make P.J. Washington shoot from the 3 and then drive in. I think that would be probably a disaster scenario for the Celtics if Kristaps Porzingis got hurt again. Now, I haven't seen any sort of over-under on games played. I think he's going to play every game. I think he is going to start, game 1 on Thursday. I think he'll probably be on some sort of, maybe not a minute restriction, but certainly some sort of minute, they'll probably be very careful about his minutes, manage them maybe 20 early on, maybe game 2, bump him to 25, and, then we'll start seeing maybe some more regular playing time as the series goes on. That's kind of my guess, and just based upon what they've kind of done with players in the past, that's kind of my estimate there and kind of how they're they probably do things. So I'd be very careful on playing overs on Porzingis. And really, until we have some more information or find out maybe closer to game time, I would probably avoid that. Again, I think there's a lot of good ways to play this series, Joe, just in general. If you like the Celtics, I don't think you necessarily have to lay that fat price on the Celtics series price. So I think there are some other ways if you want to do that, but I do think you need Kristaps Porzingis to be healthy for the Celtics to win the series. He's got to be a key guy for you.
Dan Lifshatz joining us here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Dan, I know you like to look at futures. Is there a team next year, futures, NBA, like Denver's plus 700? You got OKC 800. I know we got one more series to go, but what's the biggest rumor you're hearing about potential NBA stars switching teams or anything like that? Do you got any insight or any team that you're favoring for a future potential bet for next year?
Okay, I'll give you two. I'll give you one off-season rumor and one future bet. I mean, this is not a crazy rumor. This has been kind of out there for a while. I don't think I'm breaking any ground on this one, but LeBron going back to Cleveland and leaving LA, which has kind of been rumored for quite a while. I think that's going to happen. I think the Cavs, don't be surprised if the Cavs draft Bronny James and then all of a sudden, LeBron ends up going back to Cleveland. I know we've heard Phoenix and some other of these teams out there, but realistically, the maneuvering to be done for that would be extremely difficult. Cleveland has the ability to do that. They're going to have gobs of cap space. Apparently, Donovan Mitchell and LeBron actually have a pretty decent relationship, and so even if he's leaving AD and all those guys, he'll kind of step into a pretty decent situation. And back in his hometown, he'll get to be with his son potentially. Like, there's a lot of interesting potential upside there for LeBron. Again, I don't expect him to win it or anything, but I think that would be an interesting situation for him to go to. I kind of do expect that to happen, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, again, I wouldn't be surprised if we went back to the Lakers, but I do think that, if I had to make it, if I had to make some odds on it, I'd probably go like Cavs, like, maybe plus 150 and Lakers minus 150. Like, I do think it's relatively very, very serious for him to go there. And then for a future bet, I mean, look, I don't like Denver. I think that, they kind of have worn out their ability to kind of do things. I think this was the year to kind of get over that and make, and continue that, that championship run. Without Denver, and honestly, the Celtics, again, is going to be health dependent. Like, if you believe the Celtics will be healthy next year, then again, you'd probably like them to win. I just don't know, again, if you can expect the Celtics to have the injury luck they had this year with all the, with the pass and, really outside of Kristaps Porzingis getting hurt, they've had really pretty good injury luck outside of that. So I just don't see that happening again. I think you need a lot of luck to kind of snap into those things. Oklahoma City, to me, would be a team I'd certainly look at for a futures bet. I mean, they're a team that's certainly on the rise. I know everyone's going to like Minnesota as well. I think that one of those two teams probably has a very good chance next year. I'd say Oklahoma City is probably just a bit more ready. Their main player and their top player is a little bit older. And again, usually you need your best player to be 26, 27 years old. That's kind of the age range where you start winning 26, 27, 28. That's where you start winning titles. And so I think that Oklahoma City is a little bit closer than what Minnesota is. So I'd probably look Oklahoma City. I don't think you need to take that right now. I think you'll get much better value potentially in season or even pre or season. See how the offseason plays out, because there'll be a team that acquires a ton of guys and everyone will, jump to bet that team quickly. So I would see what happens in that.
Skaz perked up when you mentioned a couple of the names.
No, so just on the LeBron to Cleveland thing, and then you mentioned Oklahoma City. One of the things I've seen on Twitter and the dark pool and stuff like that is the possibility of Kevin Durant returning to Oklahoma City. Apparently, people believe their social media team and stuff like that is starting to lay the groundwork for something like that happening. Have you heard anything on that?
I haven't, and to be honest with you, I'd be stunned if Phoenix actually ended up doing that. Their ownership seems very dead set on winning. I mean, the way that they were really aggressive last offseason, even if they don't feel the group that they currently have is set to win right now, which obviously after what just happened this year, I can't imagine they feel great about it. But, trading Durant would basically signal the end of that, and being left with Bradley Beal's negative value contract and Devin Booker, I think they're more likely to move on from a guy like Booker than they would Durant. I think they have a limited window here, and I think because of that, the Durant stuff would be really, really surprising. I just don't see that happening, and I just don't know how Oklahoma City would get that done via trade. I mean, they're not trading, Gilgeous-Alexander, and I really don't know who else they would want to trade. Like, Josh Giddey probably doesn't get that deal done, to be fair. So I don't know how they would maneuver that, but it just feels rather unlikely, I guess, it just because of the way that Phoenix is built and the way that ownership group is really committed to winning.
All right, he's Dan Lifshatz. How's your finger?
Dude, it was the most pain I've ever been in my entire life. Like, I've torn my ACL, I've broken my leg, I've broken my hands, I've broken my arm, I've broken multiple fingers. This pain was the worst I've ever had in my entire life. And my wife did manual surgery and cut my finger open in Florida to get out the infection. And it was like sweet, sweet relief. I can't even tell you how amazing it felt. And I just, honestly, if I hadn't done it, I don't know if I would have gotten any sleep or how I would have gotten through the flight home. It was brutal. So I know everyone thinks, it's just a finger. Dude, that is the worst pain I've ever had in my entire life.
Did you get, bit by a fish or something?
No, I mean, I was like, I don't know what happened. I was playing golf, and it just got infected. I probably infected it swimming in the pool or biting my fingers or, I don't know, some other gross crap that I do, whatever. But I was playing golf, and it all of a sudden just started swelling up, and I played 18 holes. On the 15th hole, I couldn't play an iron anymore.
You're playing 18 holes with an infected finger.
I played 8, and on the 15th hole, I couldn't hold an iron, so I just played the wood and the driver because I couldn't grip an iron anymore. So that's all I did, and I literally just played. Actually, this is super embarrassing. They were my 2 or 3 of my best holes of the day were just woods and drivers because I could not grip anything else. It was bad.
Tales from the Lifshatz tees. That's that'd be a good one. How you battled through an infected finger in 18 holes.
I think everyone's probably calling me some other choice words or listening right now.
No, the chat loves Lifshatz. They want more Lifshatz. They're wondering where you are in the morning.
Yeah, not doing that show. So,
well, Dan, you're always welcome here, sir. So
I appreciate it.
And listen, I'll save it because we're up against it. But I have a bet that the Patriots will have the worst record in the NFL this year. Are you in or out on that?
I think that's a good bet. I mean, I think that you might be a year early on it because I think the quarterback play is decent this year. But look, how I feel about the quarterback. I think Drake May sucks. I'm sure I'm the only person in the entire region in New England who thinks that Drake May is going to be a bust. But I really don't like the quarterback there. And if Jacoby Brissett gets hurt, you're starting Drake May, who struggled against NC State, man. I suggest all Patriots fans go watch the UNC-NC State game and then tell me if you're excited about Drake May being your quarterback. Because, I mean, if you're excited after watching that game, okay. I don't know what to tell you. You're too biased to have a serious opinion, at least in my opinion. So,
that was the Brennan Armstrong game, right?
Yeah, I mean, May was so – put it like this. It's the worst game I've ever seen from a top 5 quarterback prospect ever. There is no game that you can pull and be like, hey, that guy sucks. And I was a Justin Fields hater, Joe. You know that. I watched every single snap of Ohio State. Justin Fields never played a game that was even 50% as bad as Drake May was in that game. I mean, it is the worst game I've ever seen from a top 5 prospect. It's so bad, it's unbearable to watch. I don't know what he was looking at. I really don't know. It looked like me or you playing quarterback back there if we had slimmed down and just decided to throw the ball.
Just be tall and have a strong arm, right? It's all you need these days to get drafted in the top 5. Well, we'll keep our eyes on it, Dan. Appreciate your preview here, and we'll get you in studio some night, and we'll do a big NFL preview.
All right, Joe. Love it. I'll talk to you soon.
He's Dan Lifshatz, everybody. Join him on Saturday, 7 to 9 a.m. The Bankroll Bunch. The Bankroll Boy with an infected finger made it through 18 holes. How do you feel about that? I feel like that's a guy that you want to call to go golfing with, Skaz.
Absolutely. You don't want someone tapping out on 15. You got to respect that.
Oh, bro, if we went together, man, you might get me through 3 holes, and then I'm cart.
That's fine with me.
I'm Carty Joe.
Just there for the vibes. Cardi Joe. Here we go.
I'm going to be in a cart with a cigar.
I was going to say a couple stogies.
And I'm probably going to go seltzer, like some sort of alcoholic seltzer, because you only need they don't really do much to me.
Played a nice 5-hour round on Saturday. It was a great time.
Did you get any sun? How do you get away for 5 hours?
I was all in the sun. I was enjoying every second of it.
I don't understand how men can get away with that. How do you get away?
Sometimes they want you gone for 5 hours.
5 to 6 hours.
Yeah, so I went home afterwards, whatever, did what I did. All of a sudden at like 8:39, I get a call from my dad. He was just leaving then. He got dinner, had a couple beers, so he was gone for 10 hours probably.
Mm. Well, I was reading the chat. They had questions for Lifshatz. I left some of them out.
A lot of Joe Milton talk in the chat.
What's up with that?
He's Bazooka Joe.
He sucks.
Bazooka Joe.
He's just got a big arm. That's all he's got. He's going to be a tight end before you know it.
Oh, like Mac Jones.
He's going to look like, you just stole it from me. Ah! I was going to say he looks big like Mac. Mac big. Did you see him do the little, he did the psh, psh, psh.
He was Alabama Mac.
He did the Alabama Mac. Cardi Joe. It's me, Cardi Joe. We got our,
that might make an appearance during Murray's summer hits.
Oh, the summer hits. Oh, Willie, let's hit the headline. We'll come back. We got musings and all that. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Sports Hub headlines.
Justin Jefferson got paid. No Red Sox tonight. Celtics, Mavericks, Oilers, Panthers. Headlines are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick, convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your next drive-thru oil change. All right, back here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. I'm Joe Murray. Felt like that didn't feel right, you know? I'm Joe Murray. That's the Instagram handle. If you want to follow the show, we've debuted a photo of Christina Longo, who's our new intern from Dean College. One day we're going to put you in the chair, Christina, and we're going to play in or out. How does that sound? She's excited. So if you call into the show, she'll answer and put you right through. And that's what Bob did, who's in Vermont. Hey, Bob.
Hey, how's it going, Joe?
I'm sorry to leave you on hold.
It's no problem. Anyways, I was watching, I think there's a guy named Greg Broussard. I think he's on some kind of an insider on ESPN.
Yep.
And he was saying he thought the Celtics would have trouble in this series as the series went on because of lack of depth. What is he talking about, Celtics' lack of depth?
Yep, Chris Broussard. And so, listen, I think the long wait for both teams is going to minimize really going to the benches.
I agree, yes.
So I'd say early on, at least the first two games, I'd look at the first 6 or 7 on each team and kind of leave it at that.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a wash myself.
But there are guys. See, I think there's more guys with Dallas, if they want to go to their bench, that they haven't played. Like Hardy's a guy. Tim Hardaway is another guy. Dante Exum. They haven't really gone to those guys, but like, if you need 3-point shooting, you might have to look at some of these guys, like Hardy, like guys like that, because they can keep up with the Celtics.
Yes, I agree.
Awesome. What part of Vermont are you in?
I'm in a town called St. Johnsbury.
St. Johnsbury, Vermont, huh?
It's the only St. Johnsbury in the world. It was also one of the best places to view the eclipse this year. And also, Bob Kraft has a son that's got a home here.
All right, so you're not far from, like, Montpelier.
About 45 minutes from Montpelier, yes.
Okay. I like Stowe.
I was just at Stowe yesterday. It's a nice place.
Yeah, the Bennett. Would you eat a Ben & Jerry's ice cream in a cinnamon toast crunch taco shell?
Yeah, I might try that.
See?
I'd probably try that. I'm a big ice cream lover, so I might try that.
Yeah. Is there a better ice cream than Ben & Jerry's in Maine? Or Vermont, sorry.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah. What about the monster in Burlington? Do you think there's really a monster in the water?
Oh, God, yes. There's definitely a monster there, yes.
Really?
Lake Champlain, yes.
Yeah, what do they call him? What's the name of that?
Champ.
Champ the monster.
Yes, yep.
All right. Well,
yep.
Bob, appreciate your call. Anytime.
No problem.
Where
Take it easy.
are you from again? St. Johnsbury?
St. Johnsbury, yep.
All right, sir. I'm going to feel like I'm going to get a shirt one day that says I talked to Bob in St. Johnsbury. The only St. Johnsbury in the country. What do you think? Do you think that's... I'm going to believe him. I don't know. I believe him, B. We got the musings. Murray's musings next here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. More Joe Murray. on the Sports Hub.
You want a random take? Murray's got all sorts on stuff in the world unrelated to sports. So sit back, relax, and get your mind in the game and listen to the words of a grown man complaining.
All right, back here at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Murray's Musings. On the way in today at Route 20, there was a pileup or something. Not a real accident, just the road was closed. So you have to understand, if you're coming from the north, you're coming around a rotary where people are getting off 95 and getting off of Western Road. And then the other people are trying to get over to 95 North. It was a triple bypass of, destruction. Skaz experienced it, too. But, there should be signs that say, hey, Main Street, Route 20, closed. I would have went another way.
I have this problem going home a lot. The other night, 495 was just closed. No signs, nothing. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of signage.
I don't know if you remember me, but one night we leave together, everybody, and we drive home. I go north, Skaz goes south, and we go on our way. But there's this house on the left-hand side before the highway, before you, I get off first and then you get off. Have you ever noticed there's a house that still has Christmas lights up?
I have not.
That bothers the hell out of me.
I will look tonight. Are they on?
Yes. Why does that bother me?
I don't know. If you went to someone's house tomorrow and they had a Christmas tree up, would that bother you?
Are you celebrating, halfway to Christmas Day?
There is a guy I follow on Twitter. You might follow him too. He's a college basketball guy. Has his Christmas tree up year round because he just likes it. Says
why?
It makes him,
What is it? The smell?
It's the spirit of Christmas.
The spirit needs to be 365.
See, for me, that would lessen it.
Yes. There used to be an art to the Christmas tree, right? Again, I grew up in the city, and we used to negotiate with the guy at the supermarket. You know what I mean? Hey, it's 40.
He throws it on the roof.
We'll give you 20 if you cut it and put it on the roof. Exactly. Then you get home, you put the stand in, you put the thing in, then you let it sit, right? And then you turn on some Karen, the Carpenters or whatever, get some tunes going.
Put on Shaughnessy's music.
Yeah, but start doing the tree, I had 2 fake trees this year. Don't know how that happened. Don't ask. And your tree. All right, I got one story, and then you know how it's always National this day or National that day? Notice that if you get an egg from chickens, they're blue. No?
I don't think so.
Okay, how come there's brown eggs, blue eggs, white eggs?
You're asking someone that's very colorblind, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a city kid, so again, I don't really understand the difference.
I think it's some with the yolk, the brown and the white eggs. I'm not sure, but I think one of them has more yolk than the other or something like that. I could be wrong.
I made eggs today. I wanted to ask, what is your number one preference for eggs when you make them or get them? I'm a scrambled. I prefer a scrambled eggs.
Sunny side up.
Okay.
And I got an answer for you.
Okay, yeah, please, egg doctor.
White shell eggs come from hens with white feathers.
Oh.
While brown shell eggs are produced by hens with brown feathers.
Is there a difference?
Nutritionally, both brown and white eggs are identical unless the feed has been enhanced for specialties such as omega-3. But it sounds like they're pretty much the same.
Okay.
No nutritional difference between a white and or brown egg.
I watched this thing the other day about air frying 2 eggs and then putting it in ice. I don't know. So you're a sunny side up. Christina's a scrambled. I'm a scrambled. Okay. See, I feel like I'd only do the sunny side up if I had corned beef hash.
Yeah, over easy.
Or something runny on, a nice little runny yolk. When is a runny yolk not good? Do you like a soggy bread?
No, yeah. If you're having a sandwich, I like it cooked pretty good.
Kind of out on soggy bread. You know what? Know what a nice runny egg's good on?
A burger.
Croissant. Well, I was gonna a burger fine. Croissant. Jeremy and I had this discussion one night about eggs on a hamburger or a burger. Dude, it's kind of changed my life.
Were you out before a hangover burger?
I was out.
And then you tried one?
Then I don't knock it till you try it, right, baby? Oh, what happened to Ice Cube?
We're down, Joe.
We're down.
The radio server is no longer available, is what I'm being told. Let's hope we're on the air.
Oh, we have no service either. This is fantastic.
All right.
So I'll just talk. You do whatever you
I think we're on the air still. So, give me a couple minutes.
All right. Well, you know what? I was made for this. No internet, not on the air. I mean, our TVs still work. So I'm going to continue on with the musings and we'll figure it out. So I'll let everybody know when I fly. Oh, I can't read the story. Never mind. When I fly, though, I fly JetBlue. Why? Because A, I get the points, but B, they get the extra space seating. So, there has been a time where I've had to change whatever, provider that I use. So there's one that I just won't use. And after reading about this, I probably won't ever use them. But on the, at least this, right? And people are telling us we're still on the app. So that's good to know. Thank you, Stumpy, for that one. But there's one provider I just won't use. And after this story, if I can pull it up, because again, the internet's down. So thank you everybody for cooperating with us at the moment. But Spirit Airlines, and if anybody caught this story recently, basically there was a fight. A couple of between the airline people and the actual travelers. A fight happened. And my whole thing is, if a fight's going to happen on an airplane, do you think it's going to be the people who get into it or the actual people who work for the airlines? Because my whole thing is this. I don't want anyone fighting on the airplane. B, I don't want the people who work for the thing fighting. Out on fighting on an airplane. I want no part of it. Even if it's on the ground. No part of it. Out, out, out. So I wanted to get that out there. When I read that story, I go, you know what? Out on anybody when it comes to fighting near an airplane. And I'll give you the story here because, again, we were down for a little bit. But we're back. I think we're good. There we go. We're all back now. Now people are sending me photos of different kinds of chickens because of the eggs. Anyways. I don't know where to go from here. How about some famous birthdays today? Yeah. Yeah, we're back, everybody. Birthdays. James Purefoy, 60 years old today. Mike Gordon, 59 years old today. Anderson Cooper, 57 years old today. Ann Winters, 30 years old today. Why did I think that had something to do with the EAS or George? No, neither, huh? Okay.
No, it's a good old crash.
We're getting George tonight, though.
I believe so.
And we're going to have the EAS thing.
Yes.
For those who don't know, one of the first things you should learn in the radio business, you watch your television in the middle of the night, and it goes, this is a test of a... That's the EAS system. And tonight is the night. It's a way to let everybody know that if there really was an emergency, that the EAS still works. I hope you learned that tonight, Christina. That's I feel like a professor. Maybe we'll start the Murray Media School of Broadcasting. What do you think?
I think there's a void in the market. I think it'd be good.
Anyways, we still on the air?
To my knowledge, Joe, we are on the air.
How's the chat?
The chat is disconnected, but it looks like we're back, hopefully.
Someone called me a chicken head. Is that because I like eggs? I haven't flown in over 5 years, but I always use JetBlue. Thank you. Spirit Airlines is promoting the Tyson Paul fight. Oh, really? Because he got an ulcer. By the way, that's never happening.
Yeah, that's been my take as well.
I'd rather watch them smoke weed together. Like, who could, like, take the biggest bong rip? Or
in on that.
In on the weed match.
Yeah, why not? Get, like, Snoop Dogg to referee or something.
But I want, like, gravity bongs. I want that slinky thing. I don't know. Do you know what the slinky is? All right, so what you do is you get this, like, the weed fight would be great. They could promote the marijuana for Tyson. Jake Paul could be like, I could be stoned or not stoned and beat you. They could be wicked corny, the both of them. All right, well, I guess we're back online, and we're back, so anything else? Anything bothering you?
No, I'm, as long as everything goes all right tomorrow.
How's everything going?
Everything goes all right tomorrow with the plumber. We'll be back in action. I'll have no qualms.
My mom asked about you.
Well, I appreciate that. Tell Mrs. Murray I said thank you.
She was like, you know that, James? His car. You know?
Bad luck Brian over here. But no, it's all good. Stuff happens. What are you going to do? So, yeah, a little...
See, you're too calm about these things.
Well, because I have no control over it. You can't get worked up about stuff that you have no control over.
Someone said Kyrie is either a fart or a toilet. Okay? No, but for real, though. Right? I need to bitch about it. When something happens, I need to tell somebody.
That's what Mary's Musings is for.
I need to get it out, complain about it, feel bad for me, and then I'll get over it. I can handle it. I got this. I just had to get it out and be over dramatic about it. That's Murray's Musings. Sometimes I just got to be dramatic about it.
Yeah, I respect that. It's when it's out of my control. Can't get too upset. It's definitely call it a major inconvenience, but we should be back in action tomorrow. And as long as that all goes well, I'll be eating ramen for a couple weeks. But other than that, we're in good shape.
Okay. Somebody wants to talk about the construction of Waltham. Let's get the headline, and we'll do that next after the headlines.
WBCFM 91 bus from the Town Fair Tire Studio, the home of the Bruins, Patriots, Revs.
I need that.
Listen live. Get breaking news.
I need it.
Download the Sports Hub app.
What to do? But I did complain about the traffic today in Waltham. It was right at Route 20 on the corner of Weston Road and the highway. And it was not great. There was there's 3 lanes, but I think they made them 5 today. And I did not like it. So Sean, who's in Waltham, wants to talk about that. What's up, Sean?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah, so I live right on Weston Street where they're doing construction, so it's just been a headache all day. Like, they're bouncing back and forth between different sides of the road. Like, I'm just coming up Weston Street now, and I heard you guys talking about the construction. I'm like, oh, God, it's still going? Because I
had to take the left to go to Market Basket instead of going straight down.
Yeah, I had to go cut through the neighborhoods there to get to where my house is. I was just coming back up the street. I heard you guys talking about it. I'm like, oh, it's still going? So I get up there, and you can hear it going like first thing in the morning, too.
What's going on?
I think they're just doing the water mains, I believe. But
they have to do it on a Monday?
Right, exactly. And but like at the busiest times of the day, they're doing it today. Like, it was the middle of rush hour. when they were doing it.
And have you ever gone? I mean, have you ever gone Main Street all the way to Starro Drive?
Yeah. I mean, like nowadays it takes you forever, but when I was younger, you do that in like 15 minutes. But now it takes you close to an hour.
Who's the Celtic player that got caught going 80 down Main Street in Waltham? Who was that?
I'm not sure.
Orion Green? Was that his name?
Orion, I believe so, because that was the thing about Waltham. You'd always see the Celtics players all around you because they used to practice up at Health Point, which is yeah. So,
now they all go to Brighton and they don't come this way anymore.
Right, so you don't see him. Like I remember, I was in the military. And I was home on leave one night. This is when Shaq was playing.
Oh yeah.
And so this is back in the day. So I come home, it's end of the night, and back then you couldn't go into the drive-thru at Wendy's. You'd have to go in, and I go in there. It's just Shaq and his entourage, and like you see him on TV, and then you see him in person. He's a big guy.
You know what's funny? I have a Shaq story. I was living in Swampscott at the time, and they were filming, what's that, Adam Sandler? Grown Ups 2. And I'm at a stop sign in front of the Lynn's train station, and I see Shaq dressed in a cop uniform sitting on a wall. And I have my window down. I'm at a stop sign, and I look to my right, and I go, "Hey, Shaq, what's up, man?" He goes, "What's up, bro?"
Yeah, and he's just like the biggest, gentlest, nicest guy I've met. He was wicked chill.
Yep.
But
why you out of breath, man?
Oh, because I was unloading my truck because I was getting all the tools out of my truck to put it in the shed.
Oh, what do you fix? What do you do? Are you a mason, man?
No, so I do landscaping, like the chemical stuff, like a True Green type of company. That's what I do.
Yeah, Skaz could use your help right now.
I can get you the greenest lawn on the block.
Oh, whoa, okay. Hey, I have a question. You ever heard the saying, the grass grows better where the dogs, do their thing? Is that true?
Yeah. So it depends. So I think it's the females, when they urinate, it kills the grass, but the males, something in their urine will make the grass pop higher. It's strange.
All right, you sound like you joined us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Thank you for confirming that, Sean.
I can try. That's what I can do for you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So there you go. Male dogs, their urine's better than the woman's. It fertilizes the grass better. I did not know that. But there was a song, though, by Soundgarden once that told me that.
I believe if they're fixed, it doesn't matter either way.
Oh, okay.
But I could be wrong. So that was when I first got my dog, my dad was like, don't let it pee in the yard, basically, which is like, it's a dog, Dad. What do you want me to do?
Einbein thinks it's a fallacy. But we did have an expert landscaper on. People are still talking about gravity bugs. We got to go to break right now? Or are we on
yeah, probably.
Segment? All right, we'll go to break, and we'll get back into the Celtics and the Mavericks that play this week. It's the NBA. It's NBA Finals week. Can you feel it here on 98.5 The Sports Hub?
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
the year before. Look, the top 4 players in the league when everyone's healthy are indisputably Luka, Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid in some order. This year, SGA, if you just look at the MVP ballot and the first all-team All-NBA voting, was number 5. Well, that's 5. We're out of 5 players. That's it. That's the top 5. Tatum is somewhere 6, 7, 8, depending on your mileage with, some of the other superstars in the league. And that's awesome. The point is the Celtics, for the first time in the playoffs, are, after not seeing Giannis, after not seeing Embiid, are not entering the series with the best player in the series. And if you look at NBA history, a lot of the series at the highest level are, do you have the best guy or not? Luka's the best guy. The Celtics are going to have to overcome that. That's all. Jason Tatum's amazing.
All right, back here, 98.5 The Sports Up. That was Zach Lowe and Mike Greenberg and people, whatever. So is Tatum the best player in the series? I don't care. I don't. Do I think the Celtics need the best player to win the series? No. Are we doing it to fill content until we get to Thursday? Yes. Yes. You got something on this one, Skaz? Because I thought I heard a fart. So if you got a take first, let's do the take first. Should I? See? I heard that.
I think it was just a bad transition.
Give me it again.
So,
what do we think?
So,
what do we think?
I'm going bad transition. They were going from one piece of audio to a live segment. I think it was just bad transition.
Again, not doing a segment called The Court of It All. I just want to know, in or out, that was a fart.
Out. I'm more out on the take, though, and I don't care if Tatum's top 5, but to say that Joel Embiid is automatically a top 5 player.
How much does he play?
Is just... How come Tatum's the only guy where the postseason matters more than anything, and when it comes to Joel Embiid or some of these other guys, it's just he's awesome. Joel Embiid's awesome for 45 games a year. What are we doing? I like Zach Lowe. I think he does a lot of good content, and I don't care if Jason Tatum is a top 5 player or not. But to just throw Joel Embiid in there as if that's a matter of fact, it's asinine. It's dumb, is what it is.
Asinine.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Can we hear it again? Okay, smelt it or dealt it. What do you think?
Tatum is indisputably not the best player in the series. So,
oh man, smelt it or dealt it. I need it one more time, in its entirety.
So,
I don't know if there's enough evidence here.
I'm gonna say no. I think it's just bad audio.
Sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, if that's a fart, he needs to see a doctor. I mean, that's worrisome right there.
Bad takes and bad.
It's a direct response to Zach Lowe saying Joel Embiid is easily a top 5 player.
That might have been a combo of chair fart. Your chair moves a little bit, but you get a squeaker. Or a knocker. Actually, you get a knocker. What was the take again?
Zach Lowe's?
I don't know.
Tatum, not top 5. Joel Embiid, top 5.
Okay. I don't care.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't care. Do I think anybody needs to be the top? Okay. Does Luka need to be the best player in the series to win?
Absolutely.
Okay. Tatum doesn't have to be.
No.
Brown doesn't have to be.
Nope.
That was a chair fart. Whether there was flatulence or not, the chair farted. Anyways. So, bad take. Bad take on a fart. And we have now, it was asinine. Anything else? I think I was going to, that sounds like how you now you just can't leave. You know? Play that sound one more time. Now you just can't leave. And everyone's like, whoa, you okay? Now you can't leave.
I'd want to leave after that.
That almost sounds like a whoopee cushion. Oh, remember the, I think you should leave with the whoopee cushion? Why did you think I... What do you say? What, did you think this would be funny? You thought it would be funny if I sat on this and it would make a big fart noise and everybody would laugh at me? If you guys have not seen I Think You Should Leave yet, that's what you should do. For the next couple of days, right? There's really nothing on. Just watch I Think You Should Leave, and then if you'd like, we'll break down episodes of it.
Absolutely. Watch some Detroiters.
Yeah, the mud pies, the hot dog crash,
Brian's hat,
Harley Jarvis,
Bart Harley Jarvis, baby of the year. I think he was a runner-up.
Oh, we got the Chunky.
What do you do?
Someone said that sounds like a slip in a big tub.
That's one big tub.
It would be one big tub. All right, there's people who want to talk to us. Paul, was that a fart or not?
No, I thought it was a fart at first, but now when I listen to the replay, it might be a combo of fart and squeaky chair.
Okay, so what do we call that? A chart?
Oh, no.
Do we call it a chart?
We could, yeah.
Can we? Let's get it. Let's get it one more. Wait, real quick, Paul. Let's get it. Let's get it one more time. Let's hear it one more time in its entirety. Right. Let's hear it one more time. It's a chart.
Yeah, God.
It's a chart.
I don't know, man. I'm confused. So before I go, I want to shout out to the YouTube chat fam.
You there? You're there. You're there every night.
By the way.
Yep, you're there every night.
I am.
And it's dedication, and we give you props because you leave the chat to walk your dogs. And now do you have? Now I know that you're impaired now, but do you still walk? Like, do you have something to help you walk?
I use a cane when I'm walking the dog because I have to walk one of them on a leash, and she pulls me a lot, and I've fallen several times, so I have to use a cane now for that.
Okay, and are the dogs like, do they understand your situation, you think?
No, they have no idea. So do you have time? I have a funny story about fart sounds. So with my prosthetic leg,
yes,
when I get if I wear it, you have to kind of add spacer socks to it so it's not loose, which I don't usually do because it's a pain in the butt. Mm-hmm. So when I keep it on all day and it's hot out and I get sweaty, when I take a step, it sounds like I'm farting. And it's really embarrassing. Like if I go to the store, it sounds exactly like that fart that you guys are playing.
Yeah, it's kind of...
every step I take, it does that. It's really embarrassing because people are looking at me like, this guy's farting as he walks.
I have boots that do that. My boots are, I tighten them, but there's still some air that kind of gets through.
Yeah. So that's what happens. Because it's a rubber sleeve that goes around my stump, and the air gets caught in there, and it goes every time I take a step.
What do we call that? A stump fart.
So I have a friend who's a very clever guy, and because it's a prosthetic, he called it prostulence.
Okay.
So it's a combination of flatulence and prosthetic.
I like it.
I think it's pretty clever.
I like that. Hey, so can we sign your leg?
Sure.
That'd be cool, huh?
Yeah, if you met me, if I met you in person, you could spray paint the thing. I don't care what you do to it.
Okay.
I would just love to meet you, and you could actually see that I'm actually. I think some people don't believe that I'm a one-legged guy, but I really am.
But you're a one-legged man. But what was your height? Your actual height? Like when you were at your height, what was your tallest?
So I was 6'6".
Wow.
And then I lost my leg to MRSA, and then 10 months later, it went after my right hip, which was already replaced once. So because of the fact that it went after my right hip, and it ate so much of the bone, they had to cut 2 inches of my leg off.
Oh, man.
So I'm now 6'4".
So you're 6'4".
But because of my fake leg, they could adjust my left leg so it's the same height as my right leg, which is really convenient.
Wow. But as far as that goes, you can walk the dog, you can do things every day. And
I do everything, man. Come on. This stuff's not. I'm 62 years old. I'm not letting this crap stop me. I won't swear, I promise. I won't let this stuff stop me from living my life. I'm trying as hard as I can. It's hard, but I do it.
Well, I used to stick my hand under my armpit to make fart noises, but now we can get you to do leg farts.
That's right.
Thanks, Paul.
Anytime you want, man. I'm going to record it someday.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we'll make it around the holidays. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll.
There you go.
Maybe we'll work on those. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you, buddy.
Love talking to you, Joe. You're the man.
You are the man. Einbein. He's in there every day. Appreciate you. Josh on farts as well.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, man. You got something on farts?
I do. Well, I long time, first time. I have some food related questions, but I figure it's better to keep it separate from the.
It's fine. You can do both.
Well, I'll stick with the fart for now. How loud would those guys have to have farted? Come on, for it to make it all the way to the mic.
Well, listen, I've been in the NBC Sports studio a couple of times. It's quiet in there, man. You can hear a pin drop.
We're talking through the anatomy, we'll say, through the pants, through the seat, all the way up to the mic to be that loud. Dude, I'd be impressed.
The boom mics are really working, man. You ever heard of Pat? You ever heard of Pat's game? We got, Capello and those guys are on the field. Those boom mics, you can really hear the booms.
All right. Did they ever pick up a fart? There's got to be someone farting on the field.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do tonight? I'm gonna Google farts during sports.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll do a poop bloopers.
Yeah, put it up. I follow you on Twitter. Make sure you put it up there.
All right, you got it, man. What was your food take? Just get it over with. Let's go.
I love your food takes. I love the cuisine, all that stuff. What's your dessert? I'm thinking cakes, birthday cake, other kind of cakes. What do you go to for cake?
For cake, I like a triple layered vanilla on the inside, white cake on top, or gold. Those are my favorites. But if I'm going, there's a local place called Ron's. There's one in Hyde Park, one in Dedham. They make an ice cream cake that I want every year. And
ice cream cake. Yeah, ice cream cake almost doesn't count.
But growing up, the Carvel ice cream cake was a staple.
Yeah, that's a game. That doesn't even count. That wins automatically.
Yeah, hands down. Every single time, man. But, dude, you go to a bakery around here, you can get the best cannolis, you can get the lobster tails, man. You get it all. This is the best place to be.
I mean cake.
Yeah, cake. Well, there's a couple of places. Are you coming to Boston?
No time soon.
But there's a bunch of stuff you can get probably online from out here. But yeah, I like the triple layered white cake with the inside frosting.
How about carrot cake?
So I like certain places make a really good carrot cake.
Yeah.
But lemon meringue is something I like, and then there's this limoncello that a place called Petrillo's makes in Peabody.
Oh yeah, I bet.
So, all right, Josh.
Yeah.
Keep farting along.
Peace.
Thanks. One more. Because this one says Celtics and edibles. Paul's in Attleboro. Hey, Paul.
How you doing, Joe? First time, long time, man. One thing I want to say, the disrespect is real for the Celtics, huh?
It really is, my man.
It's absolutely ugly, man. The other thing I wanted to say, I know you're 420 friendly. Check out spacedoutsnacks.club.
Spaced Out Snacks. Talk to me. What do we got?
Yeah, spacedoutsnacks.club. Edibles, sauces, oil,
is this like you?
Ice cream. Say again?
Is this like you, or do you just know the people there?
It's me, yeah.
Spaced Out
Snacks. Snacks.club. Check it out.
I'm looking at you right now. Where are you guys? Are you not brick and mortar? You're online?
Online, yes, sir. Sign up. It's free. You can see everything you need to see.
All right, bro. Well, I
just wanted to spread that with you. I listen to you every day. I know you're 420 friendly, so check it out.
Well, the drinks are really big right now. I know everybody's big on those.
Drinks, hot sauce, chili garlic sauce, olive oil, ice cream.
Hot sauce?
Yes, sir.
420 friendly hot sauce?
I'll send you a care package. If you give me some way to send it, I'll send you a care package.
Skaz, put him on hold. Just remember, it's myself and Skaz and our intern is old enough. So, yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, put him on hold. We're in on that package. I don't know how to put him on hold if you can. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you. So that was an interesting hour there, everybody. So we don't think it was a fart, but we learned that a man with one leg can fart. Sure. Is that allowed? Yeah. All right. Why not? It's legal. We got our final headline of the night. I'm Joe Murray.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right. I'll wrap up some Celtics stuff in a minute here, but spoiler alert, Skaz is watching The Sopranos as we speak. He just informed me. When things die down a little bit, I would like to do a deep dive, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's gonna. I'm on season 1, so it's gonna take me a while, but I'm working my way through it. I've tried numerous times, and just life gets in the way. But I'm almost done with season 1, so we're starting to get in the thick of it.
You'll be locked in.
No, I'm locked in. Yeah, I'm all in on. Yeah, I think Tony's incredible. Edie Falco's great. Yeah, the whole cast is amazing. Obviously.
Okay. But, summer's coming, and we can talk, Drake May, the Red Sox, Bruins offseason, Celtics championship?
We'll be doing some Game of Thrones and Sopranos talk. The Game of Thrones comes out this week. Looking forward to that.
The new one?
The House of the Dragon, the second season of that. So did you watch the first season?
No.
You should. Did you like or you didn't watch?
I loved Game of Thrones, but the final season shouldn't have happened.
You should watch House of the Dragon. It's good.
God.
I know, but it is good.
What do you think of Satrielli's? You ever want to get a sub from there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just saw Artie Bucco,
Artie.
No spoilers, but
that was his best friend.
Things happened to his restaurant. Now he's got a new one.
Okay, I know where
yeah.
What do you think of Artie's wife?
No, she's not a fan of Tony. No fan of Tony. Tried to get him to go on a cruise. They weren't having that.
Okay. You know me. I can't talk about this. I've been known as Spoiler Joe.
Oh, I forgot. I almost forgot.
I'm the Reaper, too.
Apparently, you've been criticized for being Spoiler Joe.
Yes. One time, I was on vacation.
Oh, is this? Okay. I think I know where this is going.
I'm in a pool, and this couple tells me that they are about to finish Sons of Anarchy. I was drinking, all right? I was in the Dominican Republic, and
You spoiled?
I told them what happened. And I went, oh, no. They were pissed. I don't think I saw them the rest of the trip.
They avoided you.
The people that chat tonight's wild, huh?
Good chat tonight.
I think we're all awaiting the finals.
Yes.
I think we're all going crazy.
Me and George were just saying that. Every morning I'm waking up all right, we're a day closer. We're a day closer. And it's still days away.
I'm not going to mention this on the air, the name of this thing, but do you ever wonder, how they came up with names for things for kids, especially? Do you know the Carvel ice cream cake has a name?
I did not.
I just don't understand. Like McDonald's, right? Did they really want Ronald and Grimace and the Hamburglar? That was supposed to be relatable to children?
Yeah, Ronald McDonald freaked me out as a kid.
Was Barney supposed to be kid friendly?
I was out on Barney.
The big purple dinosaur. Kids, what do they think? They see it? They want to hug it? I'd be scared.
Yeah.
You liked Barney?
Oh, yeah. Big Barney fan, apparently, Christina.
Just look in Slack the name of that ice cream, because I don't want to say it on the air. It's actually a name of a Sopranos character.
Yes. There's two Sopranos characters. Yeah.
Yes, two Sopranos characters.
A big and a little.
That's right. But that was the real name? Carvel came up with that? Well, anyways, tomorrow night, we're back here for a full show. We have Evan Lazar from Patriots.com. He reached out to me to come on the show, and I appreciate that.
Love that.
So if you
always appreciate it.
If you want to come on the show and you're a guest and you write for somebody, and we have the time,
reach out.
We'll take it.
Absolutely.
And I think we're going to have Brian Barrett on from The Ringer. He's got a bunch of stats. He had some P.J. Washington stats I thought that were pretty interesting today. Who's going to be a big... I don't know if there is an X factor. Somebody always becomes the X factor, you know?
Yeah, it's Porzingis, Joe.
But somebody could be that. Oh, I guess the Beastie Boys did a song on that too. Wow. All right. Well, I'm gonna listen to all this on the way home tonight. So full shows rest of the week. Christina, great job tonight. George is here. Too sweet. Thanks, James Scaramazino. The show flew by there. I can go another 5 hours, but we're not gonna. Thanks to everybody in the chat. We're gonna write some stories tonight. We're back here tomorrow night, 7 o'clock here until 11. We're taking you right up until the finals on Thursday night. We have extended.